다 딱와되는데 싫으니 나리야. 어레 싫으니 무슨 대야지. 제주산지지 깔이야. 지금 뒤에 럽침 지금 아주냐 다 룡하게 녀봐 담야게 거기서 소송셔베 아니 러버 추림을 러버 주셔 소르진데 된대봐 뒤에 되네 되네니 띵인진다 지금 나가는 신기 표지면로다 띵인진 다 조된되게 되라 아니 도대되네 다들 싫어 걸려 소송인데 아니 응배되는 세송인 말에 다 응배되는리야 배지 투문도 투문인 니 소리지 지 맨나 응배 저다고 배지 투문거리 다들네 한다 시신이 중도 줘야 돼 배지 응배되는 투문인 봐 배지 시면도 제다 다시르지 파르도 침배 아니 도도 얘기다 응배되는 난게 다 투무모임에다 응배되는 조차 다 될래야 아니 다 남주야다 거죠 가서 영자로 될래야 아니 개바 윤분바 봐 그다음에 윤분바 배쇼로 몸지 나 맨로 윤분바 윤개바시 되네 윤 정부디 동다 니슝아바 니슝아동 니치체 니치 되네 뒤버디 개동 다드네 단 도시 잡아서 어떤지게 다 뭔고 지여버려 땅 아주 남주된데 하기 싫으니 부디 아니 배지 시진 니슝아바사디 메요 아니 맨로 이나 야랑 정도가 아니 다 된데베다 싫으니 뭐 나리야 아주 좀 다봤던데 하기 디나리아 투숨도 줘 산제 탐제장 자가나 여러 봐 투숨도 줘 산제 탐제지 실제 팔도 심벌라 때네 나는 뭐 양도 못 줘서 농업 줘 상계소 신 어디 송대야 대배 산제 이내에 다대배 산제 이내에 마음배 산제 이내에 탐제로 이 실제 팔도 심벌라 때네 뭐 줘 상제고 샤다래 송이 말해 자다 나란조에 감티시니 부여바 인도산에 랑게 배즈체베이나 아니 뭐 줘 상제하기 두 나란조라 랑셰소 예바래 대한 규라말래 소상군이 최시장 티시니 메시장 리규춘의 류전그 다도상제 님부전 신 류전 심전 타다 아니 심 세점 릭점 용점 등이기 로트듯이 여신 시바듯이 여신절라 대 유리하게 누버데 랑셔스 예바래 시바사 민코라 코라 유리하게 누버 랑셔스 예바래 대 gen생기 사도 주고야 남바래 다 시베텔 경기 차유되버디 이디 게 루브르와 관계 용대하지. 자, 드리면 인도산에 간다 시바코랑 릉시 뭐말을 때 그 유지하게 누벼야 되시. 다 될고 차게 만좀바. 지 루브르의 견디되기 아니 배도 지다 다가서 그래. 지다와도 진입에 되어라 몽배 아니 몽배차 몽구지 용대기도 와. 이네 디디 심코랑 릉신을 수도에 이나 심코라 사섬 릭섬 그 유시하게 누버전도 용식 말고 봐. 저 드리면 이두산에 무엇이 러차르 심런신 유사와레신 그것이 그 준비요. 다 간다 심지 춘일 몽고스 그래서 러이마 심지 춘일로 몽버티 몽베 싸워로 다디 차되게 하래. 저 드리면 이두산에 심지 춘이 리부시고 그래서 그것이 샤대야 디샤살체. 자 드리면 이두산에 아주 줄이야 산지주고바 타베하기 심을 싫어고 가서 예버세. 다디 대세 십저디 상아 라메기숭 나로는 그 십저여래. 디세도 되는 냠는 시당 거디 상아 라메기숭네 다 수기야래. 다 된den데 오늘 내가 디지털나 아다 사운드에 아니 숭직 나로다. 배절로면 당 고물로 기루 되지. 지금 송야래야 아니 디 송야래. 청주 수익량 지문인스. 청주 전부 고반데 현식이 다보로 견세. 디 있는 강조로만 다보 견해디 니에벌 때네 아니 디 강조 소리 나지 말해스. 청주 수익량 지문인. 수익량의 송문인스. 가래슬럼나 청주 주야의 규디 아니 현다 수직의 송요 말이지. 나란조로 랑체스 예버리스. 수익량의 송문이. 그래서 다 안드스대하게 감디신님부 심런신지 회사와 심 처모 뉴메 셰바 릭섬 등유도 되는 게 다시 디강상 등요래. 근데디 나바트지 쳔베 이실을 줘야게 두디디 말이. 링제 두터도고 디차되어라. 다 링제 서울에 다 하나 레다. 근데 이번 인도산에 근데 인도산에 청주 수익량 송 가서 그래서 수익량의 송문이 두디 수익 송요 말이지.就是송문이. 근데 인도 아니 랑수 용수 셰발레스 랑게 최상 제 랑게 정신 랑게 지기 그게 다세하게 덕시 터두디 육매 셰발 차도와 육매 셰베 귤 때네 육매 셰베 귤 때네 다세하게 다도와 지 셰베 귤 때네 다스 다와 다 셰발레 원부 셰바다 이시 먹도와 이시래 이시라고도 이시차오 먹도와 서다 사 타냐 당세 특히 터도 제일자는 차와 육매셔바 균 마셔지 온데 원부셔바 저 균셔 가서고 사셔지도와 맞아 왕대 라버디 치점내가 되는래 원부셔바 되게 요래 대서도 마셔베 니쿠베 내고리야 원부셔바지도 가지고 요래 다른 신기 일류 떡과 먹고지 라버드 제디 니쿠베 그걸 가지고 요래 그러나 세듀 내고기 셰베지 먹고지 니름 단데베 그돌라 가체 야 니름 그 셰바 신다실 되게 요래 단니 투부 쿠데베 그돌라 니름 그 셰바 드 밀름 그 셰베지 먹고지 가지고 요래 다양서 집에 미게체 페인트 라 개와 개와 내고 우상가 지금这个那个嘞셰바 냠 차지 용돼야지 당근 집에는 가서 한다 나서 독자 실도 여배 있나 과마세스도와 과마세스도와 가다다 소화처럼 맵지 가자시라 가요 또 우당야지 요래 그래서 셰바 우당야 여버지 마도 생코라 가게서 소화처럼 매듯이 나서 독자 있는 용도와 세상어다 대수내거를 그냥 셰바 차지 당어서 능주 진짜 연구도 와서는 미카셰 또서 냠내로 또서 연구주체 시사니 님은 지금 주장들에 가셔 등장 하시던데 풍부닝버디 닝버만 샤브셰셰 그 쇠바 대대들 용되기도 와 제가서 도와래 자알레들 너무 별에 연구하라 자도 할래 용되게 하래 다가는 신기다 풍부 라고 풍부디 충충충충 줘야 되는 용되기도 와 아주 별들을 같이 가래 풍부 추진데다 더 사들인데 이는 같이 풍부 거리 예제 그래서 풍부 상매 있어야 풍부 가서 풍부다 유그룹 줘 근데 용되기도 와 로카시 거는 뭐다 내 투도 야마르데 내 신기 야롱을 남았지 전에 콩충두잔의 풍부의 예를 자 드림을 용되게 하래. 지다 건도 간다 셰바 시바 참문디 거로 풍불래 고설로 풍불래 고사스님도 풍불라 뭐시 풍불 나를 요래데 이네 치외 내걸로 디시바디 거로 랑자와로 셰셰 거로 풍불 떠봐매봐 이 거로 양 로데도 가 또 산제비 슝네 겨왕을 주야 되가는 샤용 요래 시바디 지기하기 직직이 두키면 가 시바 코랄라 숙제니나 코레 가서 간다 지기여베이나 양코 가루로와 랑기 둘 녀부tom데 요나 엔코 가루를 사지도와 다 시바 라고도 잘라 시바 치지로로 지메이나 그뒤이네 그 간다 치지 말로 벌로지 그뒤이네 여거다 지도자네 그 치지 말로 벌로지 냄지마도 그 댄사는 치지 말로 벌로고 대응 뭐마시에 되게 걸로도 연대 그래 대응 뭐마시에 벌로도 남게바나 대응들로 치로도 또 벌로도 가루로다 그걸 그뒤이네 녀부도와 다 릭섬 제야 콜라 녀부면 도와 그 간다면 도와 저들이 인도산에 다가는 그 땡디에 수전 장발을 때만 맞다 야 육승글로 댄서디 룽 셰바 코라다 더니지고 있는 얘기 신도 차요 룽 어떤 유인진아 디세데거래 subtle energy 조심으로 어떤 subtle energies로 아주 룽스로 그냥 하버지베 룽스로도 너무 룽스도 그러고 지도와 근데 subtle energies로는 그 느버 차오지 저상가 시바 차와디 시바 차슈디기 땡디 에너지 룽신도 차 에너지 다 디드된디게 말해 디 수진이야 수진신도 차와지 그래서 저들이 이르산에 거라 덴데디 그 덴데텔 그 균균이 되게 말해 사와다단서 다 세하기 민도서 탄예도서 싸워르디 딘제시베 유텔라 땡네 다세도 다베입니다 저상어다 대한도 최세리 딘제기다 셰바디다 그땡 에너지 subtle energy도가 다 디니부디 산제가 살이야 레베 디땡게 쯤을 세야는잖아요 디땡게 쯤을 이 바갈레 마타베 차리 봤어 다제 매버 차이는잖아요 딘제 셰바디 코르 셰바 코르 르신이 뭐 르신이 주베 동으로 봐 르신이 뭐로 봐 봐 셰바 코르 때는 다 그러고 그 찰 때는 다 그러고对吧 자 딘제 이번 인도산에 셰바 참무디 땡기 춘이디 모니굴신 산적살이야 모니굴은 뒤제 차시다 뒤면식 차 니샤가 난게 뒤면식 차듯이 그 춘이디 semkore gyundi de 세직집을 구사하자. 대 원이고 시작이래. 뒤제 입에 원이고 시작이래. 디샤. 다들 원이고 디제. 다 시바 정신이 외세에 시바 거를 세직집을 구사하자 차네. 디 때문에 시사 타다 리베 연된다. 디 때문에 머리에 차 타다 사이는 되잖아. 시사 타다 리야지 차이 물어봐. 근데 이 시초주 구사야 됩니다. 그래서 다안데 시바 디기 땡 에너지 subtle 에너지 사이도가 subtle 에너지디 산지 룽구차 수구차 다가는 지금 산지 숭나바 참잡아야 차. 자 데리인데 다 산지기 샹든 수구 룽구차 되네 이시축제 되네 현실집을 구사시 되네 두면 현실 모니굴라 낭스기 뒤제게 찾으라 현실집을 구 두면식을 찾으라 러시남다게 스님도 다가 다번 인den게 잉터도 모니고 뒤체 엔 디간라 마다고 뒤절라 무슨 나면 거는 현준생에게 초고 주고 나바전디 주구체 동시는 공화를 쳐도게 공화 양나 구시 양나 공화 와다 뒤 용서디 용을 해지집에 왜 세계 셈들가는 용되기도 왜 세계 셈 샤바드 샤바디는 용되기도 와. 자, 저는 이 전에 수의장의 숙명인소네. 다원은 상제 사야의 그릇을 수어서라고이나 랑수 용수 셰발에 텔 상제 주스. 랑기 최선 랑기 고를 정신으로 지기 여대버디 차상시 바 가서 우리 그 용수 싸워지. 용수 싸워로 용수 쏘바로 용수 세니 문도 규배관에 셰바 중소나서 랑수 용수 셰발에 텔 상제 주스. 텔 상제 쓰야 그래서 어디 투스주선 투스도 주가 상제도 주지 바로 침벌로 때네 나는 왜 양도 주는 거 보고 상제소 전에 다 실제 바로 침벌어야 돼 가렸으려나 너는 이제 내가 지켜줘
In Heart Sutra, there is mention that all the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom, indicating that this wisdom of perfection, the wisdom of perfection of emptiness, is the only gateway through all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. They traversed to get to the state of enlightenment. So you may wonder as to what this perfection of wisdom is. So if you think about the teachings of the Buddha, we see that broadly speaking they are divided into three. One, the teaching on the Vinaya, or the code of disciplines, and the teaching and the Abhidhamma, the teaching on Abhidhamma, the teaching on the Sutra, and the third, the teaching of Abhidhamma. The first one, which is the teaching on the Vinaya, or the discipline, the code of discipline, we see that that teaching mainly teaches on the topics of the ethical discipline as to how to refrain from physical and verbal negative actions. And the second teaching, the teaching on the sutra, so this is primarily as to how to cultivate single-pointed meditation and so forth. And third, the teaching on the Abhidhamma, so the high trainings. This is primarily teaching on how to cultivate the wisdom. And in relation to the third, that is the teaching on the Abhidhamma, or the wisdom, it is again it is of two kinds: one the common and the other the uncommon. The common one constitutes the text like Abhidhamma Kosha, the treasure of knowledge by Vasubandhu, and the uncommon one comprises of all teachings of the perfection of wisdom. And here, the teaching of the perfection of wisdom, which emphasizes on the teaching on the ultimate reality. So again, what we have now is that it is of three versions. The most elaborate version is the 100,000 stanzas one, and the second one is the 20,000 stanzas, and the third one, the shortest version, is the 80,000 verses. And also the Diamond Cutting Sutra, it also belongs to the Perfection Wisdom Sutra. And then the Heart Sutra that we say regularly. So this is what is referred to as the 25 verses of the Perfection Sutra. So in this sutra, the Heart Sutra, there is a mention that all Buddhas of three times they traversed, they got to the final state of enlightenment by this path of this wisdom, which understands the ultimate reality. So if this is the case with all these Buddhas, having gone to the state of full enlightenment or the Buddhahood by means of this path, that the question is, can we have that power to get there? So then it says that, of course, we all have that power. We have the very cause to get to achieve the high state of enlightenment, and that cause is what is referred to as the Buddha nature. So it is in the Sublime Continuum, the text Sublime Continuum, composed by Arya Maitreya, which says that states a stanza to explicate about the presence of the Buddha nature in the sentient beings. So it says that all sentient beings, they are going to achieve the state of highest enlightenment or Buddhahood, because the Buddha's ever radiating with deeds to benefit other sentient beings. One. And second, the ultimate reality of the mind of the sentient beings is exactly the same as that of the ultimate reality of the minds of all the Buddhas. Second. And third, every sentient being has the Buddha nature present, which will one day awaken into the state of highest enlightenment. So now, how can we understand this Buddha nature? What is that? What does it mean? When you think about our own state of mind, we see that this mind is something having the nature of clarity or luminosity, and also having the nature of the cognition, knowing. So these two characteristics of the mind, the luminosity and the knowing, is something intrinsically, something inherently there with the mind. It's not something which we need to seek, which we need to put effort to get. Then, however, the stains or the pollutants that we see attached to this mind is something temporary. They can be removed. And again, this stains in the form of the ignorance over the ultimate reality and over the conventional reality. So although there are various layers of ignorances attached to a mind, but again, they are not something intrinsic a nature of a mind. If this is the case, if these are intrinsic nature of a mind, then how come that our mind has the nature of the luminosity and the cognitive nature? So it is because of this that the mind is described as the luminous and the clear-light nature. And then, as I said earlier, a few days ago, I said that the worst of all the ignorances is the ignorance which misconceives, the reality of the emptiness nature of the mind. So the detail or the detailed explanation on this account is what is found in the Highest Yoga Tantra. And also in one of the texts of Guya Samaja by the Nagabodhi, a student of Nagarjuna, he very beautifully stated that the Buddhahood is not something given to you by anyone else, or not something bestowed upon you by someone else. And second, and no one is presently holding the cause of that Buddha nature, your Buddha nature. And then he says, it is by discovering the true nature that is present in you, that is what is referred as the Buddha. Here, when it says that the Buddha is not bestowed upon you by someone else, it is referring to the fact that it's not something that someone else is there. Holding your Buddha, and your state of the Buddhahood, and then you requesting for the Buddhahood, and that person so generously bestowing upon you the Buddhahood. So this is not the case. And secondly, it's not the case that
and 냠냠들이 같이 좋은제 샤고 몽구직도 풍분 가서 먹기비도 스타일이 시장에서 체리 총도 지급이야 아다 뒤딱제 치고 있어 저는 미시사니 아다 풍부 니모 마샤브제다 한줄로는 투정로 쉬우스도가 아다 뒤급이야 류그나다로 가려면 딱제 치하기 딱지치아 제제 이니 미신춘주 샤버리 미신춘주지 추제 춘주지 그래서 추제디 배수신에게 미디디 대변은 시계지에 뭐 좋으래 야 쉬고야 미 정해지게 도동시아 주물이 드디어 추제디 하마래 그래서 단예자 양 추제 사버치다 대신 한테 샤셔다다 풍불이 시외 롤이야도 딱제치야지 롤이야 최고칼칼 예매들 딱제치야지 저는 다한테 미신이 고대다 도dom신이 고대다
在这个时候我想
the continuation. And the Buddhahood is the course of the Buddhahood is not something being held by someone else, because the course of the Buddhahood, which is the Buddha nature, it is something that is present in us since beginningless time. And how to awaken that state of the enlightenment or the Buddha nature is by discovering the true nature of our own mind, and on the basis of that, one can have the Buddhahood obtained or culminated. So here, so what is this true nature? What is this Buddha nature? So then it says that it is to be thought of in terms of the innate mind, the very subtle innate mind that is present in us, and then. Because this innate mind is the ultimate basis of designation for the self. If you think about the various kinds of mind, some of the minds, some of them are sensorial minds, and other the mental consciousnesses. And the sensory minds, they have their own limit. They don't manifest at all times. And the mental consciousnesses, again, it is of two kinds: the gross and the subtle. And the grosser ones, they can again come and go. But the subtle one is something that has been existing continuously without ceasing, even at a short time. So if you think about how, if you try to explore within the domain of our mind, the world of mind, we see that the grosser levels of mind, they will subside when there is the subtle level of mind manifesting. For example, if you go to sleep, then the gross level of the mind during the waking state, they all dissolve. And even during the sleep, even in the case of the sleep, if you start dreaming, then again, the consciousness or the mind of the sleep will become dissolved. And then during the state of the fainting, the subtle mind is experienced. And the still subtler would be someone who is in a state of coma. And still more subtler would be the practitioners having well trained in this subtle mind, that after experiencing death, they can maintain the body not degenerating, and maintain the body so fresh for 10 days or for a few weeks, not decaying. And in some cases, the body becomes so reduced to a very small size, and still with other practitioners, the body can even disappear after the death. I know of one Lama from Nyagrong. So a few years ago, his body disappeared after his death. Only the other things left, like the clothes and so forth. So from these accounts, we see that the subtlest mind that is present in us is totally independent of our mind. Totally independent of our body. So actually, it is on the basis of this subtle state of the mind that the concept of rebirth is explained in Buddhism. If you think about the external world, the external things, so they will come to an end when there's an opposing factor, a very powerful opposing factor. And similarly, in the case of the grosser levels of the mind, again we'll encounter with very powerful opposing factors, opposing forces. They as well will come to an end. So this indicates that in terms of the grosser, distorted minds, one time or the other surely is going to encounter with a very strong, powerful remedy or opposing mental state. So at that point, it's going to be seized. However, the two qualities are the mere knowing and the mere luminosity of the mind. So these two characteristics have no opposing forces. So as such, we see that there's no reason as to why this luminosity and the knowing aspect of the mind should cease. And also that it is not the base of that that subtle mind is not the body. And whereas we do find the mention that the subtle mind, the base of that is what is referred to as subtle energy, and this subtle energy should not be interpreted, should not be understood in the context of the very gross level of the wind and these things. Of course, this subtle energy is a kind of form, and this is what continues endlessly and unceasingly. And the combination of the subtle energy and the subtle mind is the very basis for the designation of the self or the person. And now, since that this subtle energy and the subtle mind, which goes always together in the form of the subtle energy serving as the mount to the subtle mind, so these two, whenever it gets freed from the defilements altogether, then it becomes enlightened or fully enlightened. So, in connection with the practitioners remaining on meditative equipoise for 10 days and weeks, a few weeks, His Holiness says that at one time, there were practitioners who abide in that state of meditative equipoise after the death, and there are some scientists who wanted to do experiment, who wanted to do research on that, and then because of that, the scientists they left a machine to do research, to examine as to the process of this meditative equipoise happening in the case of the practitioners at the time of death. And then while the machine was there, nobody died, and then the scientists they took the machine away, and again someone died and remained for meditative equipoise. So now very recently, again the scientists they kept the machine with us. Now we're waiting for someone to die and to undergo this the meditative equipoise experience. And so now we see that in terms of the subtle energy and the subtle mind is something unceasing. It will never come to an end, even in the future. So this means that whenever this subtle energy in the mind, which is referred to as the Buddha nature, so when that is fully purified of any stains, so there we see that it will then manifest itself in the form of 5 bodies of the Buddha. So one, which is freed of which is the ultimate reality of the mind of the Buddha. So that is referred to as the natural body of the Buddha. It is non-composite. And there is also another aspect of the same natural body, which is the composite nature. And then the mind of the Buddha, which is freed of all forms of ignorances, is referred to as the wisdom body of the Buddha. And then the subtle energy it transforms into the form body, which has further 2 divisions: the form body of the enjoyment body and the emanation body. And the sources of all these 5 bodies of the Buddha is the Buddha nature that is present in all the sentient beings.
남도 처음에 덴지그 처음에 처음에디 루보레스 루보 이미 좀제 배진님을 섬기 저전에 그 생그 정신리야 세리기 정신을 슈데버스 말레스 직체 엔더 루보사디야 나문네 매대버지 야 치수 중대백게 말해 다 도모번에 유에데버리 제디네 생고란 그 정신을 슈매버리 니네 그 루보디디 자와로고 치즈로 롤 때네 용대베 인두산에 치즈로 똑바로 때네 용대베 인두산에 디 거두인이 되길러는 시리 디 동다 년보 거두인이 유에데버차 자 디리메 인두산에 아니 거두인이 그 견디디 바 세롱리스 견디 타롱리스 다야래요레스 연대르지 이든 실세대야디 소리 산제의 사이 다 되길러야 랑슈 용수 시에발레 텔라 산제 주스는 시에대야기 간다 남긴 그 살이야 최타다 아니 켄대야지기 켐바 착동 명함에 캠파 된듯이 용대야 디 그래서 주조로디 그다 디난가 조로고 스물은 신지 외서 입에 차네 용부야래 유지야 진누버지에도 디데는 용부야래 빼나 나도 내가 임바 캠베도 지니 가래 다 어디니 또도 차지 심지가 감도 몇번 나서 캠베 또로 쏘게 또 디디 상월로 유지야 유지베 연대 치다 맨다 되는 시기도와 자 디디면 인도산에 디디 싸워로디 유직베 직바 디간에 용되게 알아 자 디디 인도산에 똑소의 연대 디디 누버르디 심 시디 디간에 예되지 디디 인도산에 연대정신 2.7 어디서 알아 다 디디 인도 주물루고 디디 파 세야디 심 시디기 땡기 유지하게 누버디 콘도 빼야래 다 센서리 누버 콘도 빼야 될이야 지다와 리베리바 진입을 리베리바 용거와 다 조디 변 진입을 리베리바 사야지 시시 진입을 타입이 찍던 얘기 가서 디 될 몽베 세니 와서기 빼녀로 사버려 당고 지 가서 우리 그게 맨도 맞으네 그 내게 민식 소리지 난 담는 몽구여대바 리아 맨지기 그게 세트야 디 소리지 가야르슬바이나 지다에 더 진심을 쉐버지기 로 권의 권도 빼니 심베이나 지다와 더베 로이 누바 용소인도잖아 아니 로이 땡기 미시베 차 타다로 세트야지 로이 땡기 미시베 차타 세인도잖아 진입이 줄이도 3월로 투지를 쉐트야지 그 된대지 영야지 버다但삼단은 즉 삼단서 여러 수도 봐. 봐. 자, 디리면 이르잖아요. 다 가수를 보게 주물루보로 세야 생겼디. 연대는 신이 되시세야기 심리 리베 누버도 권에도 빼বে 타네 주물루보 어디 세야 이 말이. 다 디조데 나가를 보고 조도 싫었다. 내루지고 단도도 싫었어. 니에만 그 단도도 싫어. 조차 되게 하래. 그래서 자, 다 디리면 인자 디리면 인도산에 다 안데 시럽기 파르도 심바 세대야디 지르 파르도 심바 주 다나 바람메데 가자디 시르 바람메데 켄디 바람메데 비아 바람메데 다나 바람메데 소데게 다 바람메데 주감 양나 주 예배난기 소르디 브레제 바람메데 대한민국 나라를 거도 보로미도에서 거도 보로미도 어디 보로미도 세 제가 어디 이 파르도 친다 반제 바람에 슬라바이나 시르지 파르도 친 봤어 다 시르디 지도도 시르지 동유도 시르지 다 동유도 시르점 질 안도 가서 우마베 룩레 우마베 나레 아니 냐라 파버즈 이집지 돈이 도고 말을 순이지 가르슬럼나 아니 시베사와 머리가 직더스다디 아니 강사가 등진 라바트들이야 뭐 송제 또 그런 거 정도도 강사들 라바스기 미신데 간다다 타녀들 아저씨 미시베 다 공부르고 공부 탈투병원에 시험에는 다들 강사들 라고 샤대 와래 들어봐 그래서 어떤 대상시 코야사와레스 최지 등진디 아니 코야 시서 터두제데 얘네 코알을 저알라 취지 등지 방고 말이스 근데 이번 이제는 코알을 타와라 취지 다음에 도고 말이스는 숨이지 다 안데 고불루루 시바 터두 시행일산에 취지 다음에 도고요스 다음에 도고 그랬어 다 간다 덴진데 덴지 가서 저부디 머리 벗어야지 덴진도 샤네 지난 덴지 일산에 머리 띠무 덴진의 샤인이잖아요. 대봉지기 년부터 가서 러시아에 왔다고 해. 다 취지담이 서울에다 가다 러시아에 어떻게 가셔서 러시아에 왔다 되게 어다 로티 로티 인구 로티마도 dost어야 말이스. 자, 디데 이르산에 러시아에 왔다고 해다 로티 아니 냐란다 투모레스. 그래서 근데 이 돈이 또왜 싫어 돈이 무슨 또왜 싫어 잠시 냐랑 파바대 두모래 근데 이번 인도 다 돈이 또왜 싫어지 민주기 년볼래 돈이 또왜 싫어지마도 매버다 다 시집이 년볼로 줘야 돼 근데 지레슬람나 돈이 또왜 싫어 거라 이버다 돈이 또왜 싫어래 다 이내 캐버라데 돈이 또왜 싫어달라 그슬 뭐지 럽사래 탑지 나뭐 끊는데 봐서 장주 심기 심배 진속이 좋아다 제배 돈이 또왜 싫어대 시집이 년 붙이게 하랬어 자, 드레 이번 인도산에 시럽기 팔을도 침바세하다디 돈이 무슨 또왜 시럽 대 팔을도 침바 영향돼 남징이 줄로 돼야지다 시럽이 녀볼로 돼야지 고도가 시럽이 녀볼로 돼야 되는 남징이 줄로 두고 봐. 자, 드레 이번 인도산에 대영한테 탑기 거네 탑기 좋아도 전에 용되기도 와. 자, 드레 이번 인도산에 다탑 가려서나 장주 섬시다 드레 근데 인도다 남진 계획 고방 탑을 쳐야기 시르지 팔도 침바세야가 남들 양소 렘발라 돈이도 다와디 직 두부요래 되네 대 저스님도 대 captain 장주쌤도 공부요래 장주쌤도 직 두부요래 근데 이번 있는 고물루기 우머지 차야 나로래야等你他呢직된데 라면 장주 톰더나 대사와 장주쌤人王结果大胆的穿的都被宁西的你那边的也是啦现在장주 쌤다 장주 쌤들 싸워 인식 좀 보세 대니기 좋래야 아니 니스노부터 그 싫어 돈이도 다와 전에 와다 디 디스부대니 냠네 티도 송고를 소이 버리 고불로
루스透过 波尔波罗蜜多
So now here we come to know that the defilements or the stains, they are temporary. It is these stains are not the true nature of the mind. So it says that the stains, they are temporary, and the true nature of the mind is qualitative, is of quality. And when we say the stains or the pollutants, the defilements, they are temporary, it doesn't mean that at first the mind is free and then gradually these stains, they gradually creep in and defiling the mind. This is not the connotation. And so what does it mean by the temporariness of the pollutants is that the pollutants, they are not the intrinsic or the true nature of the mind. So and the pollutants are not attached there as a true nature of the mind. They can be separated from the mind. So this should be the connotation. And secondly, these pollutants, they are temporary in the context of having a very powerful remedy. Because of having a powerful remedy, because that these pollutants, they are all underlying them, they have a distortion, the element of distortion, because of which the powerful remedies can eliminate them fully. And this is how we can see that these pollutants are something temporary and which can be overcome, eliminated. So it is on this basis that in Nagabuddhist text, when it says, through discovering the reality of one's own nature, one achieves enlightenment or Buddhahood. And also that when we see the perfected quality of knowledge or the omniscience of the Buddhas, the very reason for the arising of this omniscience is the very nature of the mind which is there within us, which is having the nature of luminosity and knowing. So it is the luminosity of knowing that it is for this reason that we can expect to achieve the omniscient state. So say again, the Buddha having the qualities in terms of knowledge, in terms of wisdom, referred to as the powers to realize every other phenomena, every atom of the universe. So now, how is the Buddha capable of knowing all these things? So, in fact, the very seed of such a powerful knowledge of the wisdom is right there within us in this in this nature of the luminosity and the cognitive nature of our mind. So now, what should we do to awaken, to manifest this, the latency or the imprint or the seed that we have of the omniscience? So that is simply by trying to enhance the quality, enhance the power of the luminosity and the cognition that we have already since beginningless time. And then, if you think about the knowledge, so the objects of knowledge is just unimaginably great in terms of the number. Because if you think about the phenomena, the objects to be known, they constitute mainly they constitute the ultimate reality and the conventional reality. And if you think about the conventional reality, it's just so great in number. As such, if we are to really try to know each of the conventional realities, so we'll not come to a point where we can get to that state of knowing every conventional reality. So what is the secret way? What is the way by which we can do to be omniscient, to know about each detail of the conventional reality as well as the ultimate reality? Is that just as there is the what is known as the panacea, a single medicine for all, a cure for every ailment. Similarly, if you can look for such a panacea in terms of the mental wisdom, then that will do to get us to the state of enlightenment, even without the need to try to explore each and every phenomena that exists in the universe. So how to do that is that if one can able to enhance the power of the wisdom, which understands the ultimate reality, which understands the emptiness nature of everything, then at one point we can get to a stage whereby all the delusions, all misperceptions and ignorances can be eliminated. So if that happens, then there is a point where we can have a simultaneous understanding of every phenomena, simultaneous understanding of every phenomena referring to the omniscient state. So now going back to the point is that how to eliminate those stains which are described as temporary is by enhancing the power of a mind in terms of its two characteristics, the luminosity and the cognitive nature, and they're two focused on the ultimate reality, emptiness. So now there's mention of the 6 perfections, or sometimes mentioned as these 10 perfections, and of which the perfection of wisdom is also included there. Here the wisdom referring to the wisdom understanding the ultimate reality, the emptiness. Although some middle way philosophers, they say that, there's no need to understand emptiness for someone to be liberated from samsara, to someone to get freed from suffering. And they, from their point of view, they say that, simply by understanding this, the grosser level of this selflessness, which understands the mere absence of mere selflessness of the autonomous substantial reality, that one can get to enlightenment, one can get to nirvana, because from their point of view, the grasping, the ignorance which misconceives things to exist as autonomous substantial reality is the root cause of samsara. However, this is not the case from the point of Nagarjuna, because Nagarjuna's ultimate purport is that in order to get to nirvana, even to get to nirvana, the understanding of emptiness is crucially required, without which nirvana cannot be obtained. So, from the point of view of Nagarjuna, the understanding of emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness is not something confined to the Mahayana, but this is a common requisite for the Hinayana practitioners as well. So, now we see that the wisdom of emptiness, this wisdom, can be a remedy to the afflictive obscurations which comes on the way to achieving nirvana, as well as it is the remedy to the obscuration to omniscience. Now, as to how to determine that this wisdom of emptiness, whether it's going to be the remedy to the mere afflictive obscurations, or even to the obscuration to omniscience, so that is basically determined by whether or not that wisdom of emptiness is complemented by the method side of the bodhicitta, the desire to achieve enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings, plus the practices of perfection, such as generosity and so forth. So to make sure that these practices such as the wisdom and so forth to be the practice of the perfection wisdom, it must have the capacity to overcome the obscuration to omniscience. It must be the cause of the full enlightenment, so which can only happen if that is complemented by bodhicitta. So it is so to make the practices about the practice of perfection, we should make sure that it should be complemented by the view of emptiness plus the bodhicitta. And it is on this basis that Nagarjuna, in his the precious garland, it says that in order for one to achieve the state of full enlightenment, one need to be endowed with these three qualities, these three practices in terms of the bodhicitta, which is rooted to compassion, two of which should be complemented by the wisdom. So Nagarjuna then advises us that we should make it a point to hold these three practices, the bodhicitta, compassion, and wisdom, as the prime practice of a life.
야가게 찍나로 다 된다 면자 유대버디 벽에 나로리야 창 써야 되기 견 상받으셔 축 써야 되기 가서 우리 벽에 로게버디 로게스르도 르유지 또 지드신이 그 타다 또 유는산에 로티기 콩도 추바 로티기 추바 그리고 로티기 또 배쳐라다 로티 개베로 로티 유들 하도 시절에 가도 시절사라 캠베 캡 수잔에 캠베 그베 출켑을 지키지 말아봐 캠베 유가인의 띠 리그르잔에 캠베 똑배권에 캠베 캡을 써주로다 아들이 이메이드 잔에 축 샤디 띠 시절라요 로남 개 senida 시절로 개베다 시기요 장축 샤디 다디 터졌으셔 전제대비 정축디 정축디 폐지소 실업금이 용요래 실업기 이게야지 그러나 장세아들 레이루산에 시저타다 가서 우리 그게 다 장래 니 용서를 왔다 조조 터도디 간다 니나 추베 쯤어 사야래야 니수나요 니나가 나와도 누구도가 니나가 나와 놓을도 지다와 또베 남긴 코랑기 놀래야 진입에 나와지 민도와 지다와 또베 남긴기 지다와 네베 녀모들라 디는 가로로다 이내 남긴 그 진입에 다다 시고로다 그다 저들이 이르산에 가서 지면는다 저들이 이르산에 장세하기 계셨디 녀도와 축사디 계셨디 니베도와 추버 시스타다 특수 추버지 영화라 시시시에발로 바로 주에 주마타다 장고시 걸어봐 사페지 장등이야 시에베 인스레 배나 걸어도 이제 띵인 징기 시드비 뭐이냐 붙이니 시드 빵배 자와도 토비르산에 진입을 해야 돼 내용도 와 봐. 사진이 이르산에 장세야 돼 냐를 해야 돼 내가 있으래 축 장스 무슨 세 장축 시송도 와 사진이 이르산에 그 장세야 돼 영향이야 시럽 조우도 와 사진이 인도 시럽기 정술로 믹스 다 다 뭐지 정주 샘바스야 돼 내가 저어들이 샘바스야 다 샘스야 돼 저거면은 샘스야 되기 딘데기 정주들라 미기 요아래 대 가봐 강기쳐도 미가 없을까 이나 타예배 남게 심제 타다기 라 펜버 주베 레도 펜버 타르토고 주베 레도 정주주 단dun형이 그렇지 지르자네 체도 자와 남게 태도가 심전라 심전성 아 심전의 돈 삼네 다디 실업 말받다고 로디 저주 심스다디 실업 듬바이 바가서 계셔 근데 이르자네 심전 타다기 야 미국도 와 심전 메른 걸 미국도 와 심전 랑다와 동해면도 받다 대완 대바 임버직 상당히 디터네 대다기 체도 봐 대다가 제도 정주지 통도 예별로지. 지자네 시럽기 정주를 미 닝지 셈자를 믹사지. 자, 다 정축 정축 셈 ስለ잖아요. 시럽기 좋아다 제배 학상도 듬바 표도 중지. 그럼 저것도 왜 저서지. 다 양은 심기 사기 단위식 속도가 디 가르스 디도다 가르스라나 마오냐베로 여den가 사물로기 나는 제별로 열어봤다 사물로라 속자 초부 순절로리야 나는 제별로도 봐 다들 제별로 열어봐 다들 제별로도 고도와 다들 제별로도 논주 말봐 다 동엘에 제대로다 다 대화타다 대바 중는 사람 대바디 김선 대바로 봐 양도 버려봤다 디 김선 가르스라면 랑강게 대화 대바다 동해면 되지 예배 인상 그래서 랑강게 동해면 되바다 대화 대바 즉 동해 세트야지 예배 다 산제배 쉬운거잖아요 산제배 쉬어나는 시고다 시리자네 동해 세트야지 뭐 인도산에 동해 세배 대화디 톱 외워지러 봐. 톱 쳐가지러 봐. 톱 쳐가 톱 외워버려 봐. 그래서 이제 인도산에 다 가서 우리 벽에 랑 대원 되버디 김선대 버려도 와. 그도가 다랑 동해 민도바다 대원 되버디 김선대 버 인도산에 난게 대도 있으면 뒤에 수도 수이네 랑 대원 되버다 동해 민도바 시다로 봐. 김선대 버려버디 양다 버려도 와. 자, 다 가르쳐 하신 분들은 랑직으로 찍으러다. 현선 타입으로 봐. 자, 디네 인도산에 타입에 단다라 사무동야디 럽치그러. 뉴어치그러. 지성기 가서 우리 보기 럽치야야 돼. 가르쳐서는 난게 대도 심지어는 편집 좀 되고 로게 인도산에 선은 뭐 빠도 빠도 럽치 차이고도 와. 랑지부 대원대별로 로데 남준 대배탄에다 남준 대배탄에 대원대별로 집에이나 다른 남준 대배사디 디보만 사야지 봐 샹은 너 밤이야 랑 대배탄도 샹 너 밤이야 매비셔 다 샹레 팬 마다 임비 샹은 너 밤에 거네 랑게 대화 주야디 양다고 저도 와 이내 따때 소수지고 가박 소자 찌기 쳐도 미두산에 다친 줄 봐. 다 동해면 되버다 대원 되버 장자이 뭐 군세도 쳐야지 랑레 셴 타예버리스 드레 이르산에 타예버 심정이 쳐도 동해 잔되고 로드다 대원 잔되고 로스게 이르산에 심정 미버 심정 타예버 이르산에 텔 미버 로드 셴메로 돕지 못해요 와 그래서 다디 딘데 인도 와다 딘데 인도산에 랑지부 탄다라 삼대버디 삼로 다춘주 타예버 심정 타다가 쳐도 미버 로드 사바 다치버려 돼요. 사바 다치버려 말이야. 근데 인도 셈게 생각했지. 그렇죠.
所谓的菩提心的这个前二字菩提的梵文
Here I'd like to explain the meaning of the bodhisattva. The bodhisattva, it can be broken down into two words, bodhi and sattva. The bodhi, the Sanskrit word bodhi, in Tibetan is translated as changchub. Changchub has the connotation of the state which is freed of faults and endowed with qualities. So the Tibetan translators, through series of examinations and exploration, they found that the same word bodhi in Sanskrit having the ambiguity in terms of its meaning. Then the Tibetan translators they preferred to translate it this way: the state state purified of all faults, endowed with all qualities. So this bodhi in Tibetan, which is changchub. Chang has the connotation of eliminating or purification of defilements, and chub having the connotation of being endowed with qualities. And here again, we see that it is only by eliminating the faults first that we can expect the mind, a mind being endowed with the perfect knowledge, being endowed with the qualities of knowledge. When you say or wherever the mind pervades, the knowledge as well pervades. So it doesn't mean that the knowledge really resides there on top of each of the objects. Rather, pervasion of the knowledge to all things simply connotes the knowledge or the wisdom, understanding each of the objects. So here, this bodhi then turns out to be the object of attainment, object which is being aspired to achieve, and it is the wisdom which should understand this bodhi or the enlightenment well, Changchup well. And again, this state of enlightenment or the high state of Buddhahood, this is something which is devoid of any fault of duality. So in order to reach that state of the absence of the faults of duality, one should be able to eliminate that first. So. And if you're able to eliminate this, the faulty dualistic perception, then one achieves the state of the omniscience. So this omniscience, in the case of the omniscience, omniscient mind, we see that while that is focused on emptiness, in the face of focus on the emptiness, it doesn't have the dual experience and the dual perception, the duality. So, and in Tibetan is Changchup. It is Chang has a connotation of the purification, and Chup has a connotation of the qualities and being endowed with qualities. So I think there's a very great purpose in putting these two words in this order, Chang first and Chup later, because in order to have a quality and fully endowed, so for that the purification has to priorly proceed. So here, to know the enlightenment or the Changchup, it must be done by means of the wisdom. And next is Sattva. Sattva has the connotation of someone who thinks about something, thinking about the bodhi. So here, thinking about the bodhi has a connotation of being attached to the sentient beings, because one can only think about the fullest, the highest enlightenment if one has a sense of empathy and concern towards the all sentient beings, whose number is as vast as the space. And we see that all these sentient beings, as vast as the space, they share one in commonality, that is desiring for happiness and not wanting suffering. So we see that it is because of the compassion in these bodhisattvas that they focus on the sentient beings. So the bodhisattva can be understood in the context of, in the light of someone who has a strong moving sense of altruism, complemented by a very powerful wisdom. And next is bodhicitta, or in Sanskrit it is bodhicitta, in Tibetan it is semkhe. Semkhe. Semkhe in English, it means sem has the connotation of mind, and ke has the connotation of expanding the mind. So say, every sentient being, including the insects like ants, they all share one in common, and the wish for happiness and not wanting suffering. And just as they wish happiness, not wanting suffering, and they too have the right to accomplish happiness and to overcome suffering. So, their wishing for happiness is their basic right, and they do have the right to overcome the suffering. But one thing that we have to keep in mind is that although we all share this sentiment in common, but if you think about the number, you are just one, and others is so numerous. It is so from that point of view, it makes more sense if you attempt to work for the sake of the many rather than for the single person. And while you are in the pursuit of working for the welfare of all other sentient beings, working for the many, you accumulate enormous amount of merit. So how can one really do the work for the welfare of other beings? So that indicates that, if possible, one should offer help to others, if not at least not harm others.
它的范围是狭小的，因此所发
So now,
是狭小的，它是小的。
So now, instead of simply thinking about oneself, the single individual, if you're able to expand your mind towards working for the welfare of all other sentient beings, so there, the narrow-mindedness, the self-centeredness, so there, that mind is being expanding in terms of the scope of his thinking, in terms of the scope of his concern. So instead of focusing simply for oneself, simply to oneself, you are now trying to expand your mind to focus to all other sentient beings. So when one is able to think about all other sentient beings and wanting to offer benefit to all sentient beings, so that is what is referred to as expanding the mind. What is the Tibetan the version Semkye, which is the translation of the Sanskrit word bodhicitta. In English, it is probably translated as the awakening mind or the mind of enlightenment.
So dobja sabe penyon ri ke doga me ba. Ka ko be ko le charish don. Ane choda be ko ji dobja bi sa she. Di gyawar jare yamar slawi na. Di penyon di lu cho sang je ma do shin da penyon ske be ba. Da rang gibu shu na sa be samlo di penyon yar be na. 디 과바데 랑지고 야 대야 지금 랑지고 다 초와 대화를 지금 된다 말도 삼스케미도 와. 디 튼주들의 상황을 열어봐다. 다 로바직리아. 아디 대주나 삼스tambe이나. 봐. 삼로 제대로 되어 거는 로바들이야. 그러나 저도 되게 미질이야. 또저시대. 가끔도 미인의 튼주인의 지리야. 지금 또 서동지배이나. 지그에 대한다. 팬심이도 와. 다 될 겨워지기도 와. 그래서는 팬심이 달려야 지 팬시 따위는 전에 딘레부티 랑려야 쉬고 야야지. 但现在팬当랑려 야 용을 써야 돼. 그래서는 아우도 주님은 와. 这当然是通讯的下下呢，这现实的罗下边呢，屯主呢，他们我们有大话的说这个马斯克州所罗，土邦所罗这的，个别是的性格有什么个，什么上过些马斯克州里啊，差是这边呢，个啥的差技术上面，个的差经验的里啊，区别的，这个说的土地技术的情感有什么情况？ 기대 심미다 저당 다 저차디 파 야구잖아 신도와 행수 야구치도와 봐 자들이 인도산에 파 야구잖아 소 야구 제외할 때기 랑핑도와 랑성 기부도와 봐 근데 키시하잖아 키디 소르 스탠체 제빈 되고스기도와 키디 슈그리지 제 젤리르스 마트엔체 이 라베간도 지라도 스티오는 스티우르스도 그래서 디 영야데 파 야구전 소 야구치로 자 디고 취니를 써주면 되게 파 야구시잖아 디 랜데 소소 지 쓰는 지 가서 영야지 수 랜중도와 자 디 야구전은 저부 야구 연구사야 돼 파 야구전 수 저부 야구 연구사지 디 차는 사운다면이나 소소소 잠바 주주 제베이나 소스미세 가스게 되게 그다음도 지르실래도 또 잡으잖아 그 규타대 지글이야 그파 잡으셔야 인데 그수 가보시그래 수 가보셔도 소스 지르시도 다 소소서 저라 야글라 아세 도스잖아 계속 되게 영향스게 되게 그다음도 사실은 인도산에 파 상부잖아 수 제부 대만탈이야 야구 지원돼야지 지상 상부잖아 상부 연구래 냠바잖아 냠바 연구를 써야 돼 디산에 시야 태워서 주면 되게 사실은 이 인도산에 다 샹은 내가 샤베이나 샹 규타대 버지리야 파 내가 샤베이나 디랜디 슈고소소 뭐지 영향이 정도 와 자, 진짜 인도산에 개와 세아의 주야디 폐체디디 시안의 때는 연구도가 도가 뒷버세아디 폐체 시안 때는 연구도가 그래서 다 뒤급디다 조디 나란즈 배나 소수 지구 차샤네 나란즈 미 인도산에 미 지소 님돌면은 소수 지구 kunjaske 야마로 왔다 지소시 나로로 대친제래야 간다 시안을 판별 로지여나 소수 기부여 하다 시안이야 나바차나 랑모기부여야지 배지도와 다 든지기 나당 원에 지성기 샴페인 로지여나 랑을 개변도와 배는 김상지가 나로라 장서 배는 김상 배는 민거주시의 김상 나 차샤나 김상 대난기 미지 김상게 로고서 성 균마당 전에 코로나 간듯이 집에 있는 김상디 기우인 말와 김상디 난게 미티 김치 상단에 소소 개발을 또 강에 채비 있는 아주 김상 지스 상담에 있는 김치디 기우인 말와 또한 다도 파 야게 있잖아요 나란조 신디원도 채비 있나요 지성기 샴페인으로 줘야 있나 지디 대지다 지들을 패야지. 타면 지들이야 카일라요 팬더스게 뭐주네. 소수선 나눠나 개발해 봐. 내 사람남다 재미 사람지. 소 개발을 수도 와. 기부도 와. 자, 이래 인도산에 다 심기 자 소수 찍고 다 대화 뒤도 가서 동네세야다 대화 주야 찍고 상담 뭐香港都是대화 주야 동네세야 상담 상담 있나? 랑을 개변도 와. 죄송합니다. 자, 다다 셴사디 뭐지? 다기 디두디 랑기 가서다 바나 다기 바나 류소 대화다 섬소 대화디 다랑 그 롱제제제 말도 강사신이 롱제제 말이 강사신이 대화다 동네디 강사 대대제 롱제제제 말도 랑다 타가 디두nyong야 민두디 이나야 시정기 셴라 초 대화여야지 제베이나 디 데부디 랑을 개배용돼야 지성이 시안은 내가 제베이나 랑을 동해용야지 거다 디차돼야 저 진짜 차돼 진짜 이면 인도잖아요 랑 제번 좀바디 민두비다 데 두레스 셴 제번 좀바디 데베 디지 두레스 디송이야래 진짜 인도잖아요 준주 나라래야 아니 아산 직전 때와 진입 되게 셴든 되려죠 지된 동행신이야. 되게 랑된들래 좀 디송이 말이야. 대신도 준주 나라래야. 가사 지면에 건시 다다 시는 말이 되집니다. 다들 현지 동해다 양다 지역으로 마찬가지나 상제니도 민주주의 코아나야 대화 매신 송돼야 돼. 랑지구 싸움이 뭐 타예베 샘다 현지도 나리야 지성 그 싸움도 다시 당토버지 중원이는 뒤속이 뒤지는 거래스. 대래도데 현다 싸움마다 저 소수지고 싸움단데베이나 터도 남지 개발고만 토토야 연구 말을라 차도 시버 코어를 내대베 정도 나란주 미스다가 온도 셔베이네 기부 연구 말에스 디송도와 자 디레 인도산에 삼바 소수 된다 성구 열에디 이내 소수 된다디 뭐나라 소수 디기 다바스버지기 디기지 용알라 셴을 팸도 주고 하지 저기요. 그래서 리드선의 젊은이들 어느 시면 나올라 삼바 셴든 삼네. 팸바라는 팸인 거리스. 근데 뭐냐르샤. 다들이 이미 인도산에 나 정주지 셈세대야디 호텔 때도 아직 딜럽 좀 보시지. 때 야고래. 때에 내가 영어면도 나를 이렇게 개변스게 믿고 사람들이 잠배이나 다들 꼭다 땡겨요. 렘다 땡겨요. 죄송합니다. 정주 선세대야 돼. 뭐냐 참에 랑도 주야게. 또 남주쟁이다 랑도 주야 타르도 들으셔. 자들이 준주 나라리야. 깨바도뭐 로고 잡아요. 통한다기 니니 팸버 식스잖아. 타전 송도와. 깨바는 개배정이야다. 찍도 팸버 가르도와 공연도잖아. 아니 다그 현지에 정주 선세대야 돼. 찍도 팸버 들으셔.
透过发心， 透过这种广大的发声音，让我们利益现有形众生，
Now,
就想要
if you think about the benefit of cultivating this bodhicitta, the desire, the wish to become enlightened for the for sentient beings.
为什么呢？ 因为
So,
如果光是
before we touch this, just see what is the benefit of drinking a tea or eating something.
口渴的时候，
So at least, at the most, the benefit is simply to sustain your body.
想要去吃饭，
Now think about seeking some personal happiness. What is the benefit? We see that, of course, there's some personal benefit, but this is something even shared by the animals. This sentiment, this desire for personal happiness is what is being shared by the animals.
想要让自己快乐的话，
Now try to extend it a little bit beyond. Say you wish someone else have happiness. So with that sentiment, you try to give food to those who are hungry. You give drinks to those who are thirsty. So if you do that with a sense of altruism, with a sense of concern for others, so this is what is referred to as virtue.
解决他口渴的问题。
Because by these actions complemented by a sense of concern towards others, these will give rise to a positive result on you. And as to how to account to this mechanism, so this is a natural law.
来自一种
So say, if you are being compassionate, if you are being caring towards the animals, even the animals, they appreciate that. They will also like you. But I wonder whether or not the mosquitoes, they have the capacity to express that sense of gratitude if you try to let them suck blood from you. I don't know if they can really express thanks to you. But the dogs and the dogs and the cats, they do appreciate your kindness.
当然有时候
So now, say, if the dogs and cats, if they show you they're bearing teeth, I don't think we are going to be happy. And whereas if the dogs they come to you with their tails wagging, and if they start licking your hand, I'm sure you'll be so happy. So we see that by expressing a sense of concern towards others, even the animals, they will appreciate you, which when you feel it, you'll see that you're also getting the benefit. You're also you're also becoming happy.
他会舔你的手指，他会舔你的脸上，你会觉得很快乐。
But I'm wondering, so we do see that when you try to be kind towards others, when you try to pat others, others will appreciate that, and you also feel a benefit. You also feel that you are happy when you see others happy. So say, how about patting yourself? How about trying to caressing yourself? Do you think that this is something which can make you happy? I don't think so. So we see that if you try to be compassionate towards others, so you are in fact the one who is recipient of the benefit. And whereas if you try to be unkind towards others, you are going to be the recipient of the negative consequence.
会得到快乐的。
So we see that the most of the virtuous actions and the non-virtuous actions, they are somehow connected with other sentient beings.
去伤害我们，所以将来我们就不会获得。
And since that we are human beings, we are social animals, we need to be there with other colleagues or other human beings. So while you are there in society, if you try to be kind towards others, if you try to offer benefit towards others, you are going to be the one who is going to be benefited, and likewise with the harm. So say in a family, if there is a member who is least considerate about the other members, then the whole family will be unhappy. And whereas if you're someone who is so considerate of the family members, the family as a whole will experience happiness. So we see that even in the case of this life, even in the case of this life alone, so the more empathetic the person is, the person will be more happy. So if you think about the empathy to the degree of the bodhicitta, so no doubt one will experience a great in-depth experience of happiness.
对方的着想，去体谅对方的话，那这样的话，这是
Although the happiness and suffering is a form of experience or feeling that the individual person alone needs to experience and not someone else, but by yourself offering happiness towards others and eliminating, not causing suffering on others, you are going to be the one benefiting receiving the
其
benefits.
实我们已经获得利益了。
So the more self-centered one is, more suffering you'll have, and the more other cherishing you are, you'll have more happiness. So this is very beautifully summarized by Shantideva in his Bodhisattva Charyavatara, where he says that all the happinesses the world contains, they are derived through wishing happiness for others, and all the suffering the world contains, they are derived through wishing happiness for oneself. And also he says that if one is unable to exchange the happiness of oneself and suffering of others, then you will not achieve the state of the ultimate good, that is Buddhahood. And while you are in samsara, there is never a genuine happiness. So whether in terms of the future lives as well as in this life, the concern for others, being empathetic, being considerate of others is crucially important for one's own interests as well. But in true sense, ordinary people, what they do is that although they think of happiness, but they go after the cause of misery. They tend to destroy their own happiness. And in Lama Tsongkhapa, in his Lamrim, he very beautifully stated that although you aspire for the wishes, the happiness of others, but you are going to receive the benefits as byproduct. So some people may think that, oh, this bodhicitta is such a wonderful idea, it's such a wonderful empathetic thinking, but I'm not at all eligible for that. So such thinking is really a foolish thinking. So because to be a wise selfish, it is the bodhicitta. It is only by embracing bodhicitta that you can have the best of the interests for oneself. So the bodhicitta is in fact the wisest of the selfish thinking. And it is beautifully stated by again Shantideva in his Bodhisattva Charyavatara that all the Buddhas of the three times, they thought for eons and eons as to what is the best thing to be of benefit to oneself and others, and they realize it is the cultivation of the bodhicitta.
但是呢，我应该是没有办法。如果这种想法的话是错误的，你们不应该有这种很愚笨的这种想法。我们要尽量的去往利他的方向去走想才是。所以呢，在入行论的时候呢，又说了这样一句话：多劫佛生思，见此最饶益。所以佛陀透过多劫的这种时间来去观察什么样的法门对众生最有利益的时候呢，发现到一个就是这个菩提心，这个发心呢，对自己或对他人或对一切的众生呢最有饶益的。
好呀，这个意思啥呢？初期，人的代表成就生，改不白白这样容生，就是什么？
所以，
这三个。你们代表成就什么是啥呢？他们成就什么写给他的？大代表成就什么是啥呢？各种成就什么写给他的？这第二步的，那马给不给，给不黄的黄的白呀的，给切都，给吧的给吧管那样，给吧要嘛的送的，等我那日多啊。
阿底峡尊者呢，曾经有说到了
Adisha Dipankara, he said that, oh, these two bodhisattvas, the sun-like and the moon-like, sun-like referring to the bodhicitta, the ultimate bodhicitta, and the moon-like bodhicitta referring to the conventional bodhicitta. So these two, even if it takes eons and eons, there's no regret. It is worth cultivating. So this is very true of what Adisha said.
这种的方向呢，来去努力精进。纵使是花千劫、百劫、万劫，我们也是值得的，确实是如此。
这第一印度喜欢来尊重那样，他们就我们说白了，马的人物充分影响的，但经济系统给别出工，别社会的大起来，别短些别熊大些不得难给，人个难给人人，马的人个出来的。 他会现在被成就什么啥？这也是我的话。
所以吉天菩萨呢，在入行论里面就说到了。
In Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charyavatara, he says that the very essence of the milk-like or the immaculate Dharma is the practice of bodhicitta. So you see that the Buddha has taught enormous volumes of teachings, and the essence of which is the teaching on the bodhicitta. So this bodhicitta is what I practice, and I would like to ask you as well to do the same.
양 시월에 뒤송도와 가사디 어디 시월에 대경의 군세 대경의 군세 전주스님 다시네 대내 대화 좋아라 심시 수시 기른 줄었어. 배야 오동아. 장중 심세다 되게 안다 디숭이라. 오늘 안다 개년 가르쳐야 나야. 개년 청주람도 줄었어. 닝멍가고 도하데 청주람도 줄어인스. 근데서 줄어서 되베이나. 아니 기는 대와 소송어. 팬데난가 가오셔. 동네 근지 동네 코 동네 자수 깨버셔서. 숙심부터 와. 세디네 인도자네 대외 경례 군세에 사야지도 와. 대외 경례 군세에 청주심지 다셔네. 대내 대화를 좋아라. 심시 수시 기론 줄스. 깨발네 깨발이야. 아니 현든지 두체. 드디지가 상으로 담이나 동해야 매버래 코쳐서 산더러지 영향을 주자. 세들이 인도산에 아다 십제배 나라 가사장에 치리하고 죽음들이 단다들이 랍칭 전주 심 예등에기 전주 선바 달라스 그러다 근데 기부 달라 아니 가서 그래 깨는 가르쳐나야 뒷머지면 야 야마데스 진짜 인도산에 시버 코알은 나바다 냥델 뭔도 제가 니부들 캐버려 야마데스지 십제베 지그래 내가 지지도 주는데 간다 대나 대라 시버당 냥엔 달래 캐버려 메스 쌈에 떠도 십시도 와 쌈도 사지 쉬우지 가지 모르셔 맞아들
吉天菩萨呢，在入行论的时候呢，又说到了一句话：故应除疲倦，故应除疲厌，欲驾决心居，从乐趋胜乐，智者宁离却。确实是如此，这是一个非常殊胜的一个菩提心啊。有了菩提心之后呢，我们纵使遇到再大的逆缘或再大的困难，他都有办法把它转为资粮，把它转为快乐。如同
In Bodhisattva Charavatara, Shanadeva said that by leaving aside all sense of the indolence or laziness, and then riding on the horse of the bodhicitta, you will traverse from the place of happiness to a greater place, a place of greater happiness, and then who on earth will feel indolent and lazy by reflecting, by thinking about this light of bodhicitta. So this is indeed very powerful. So someone following this path, a bodhisattva, for him, whatever adverse conditions, whatever difficulties one may come the way, one may find on the way, he can easily transform these adversities into the path to enlightenment. So this is again. Then you may wonder, so how to transform the adversities into the path to enlightenment? Then it says that when one truly feels happy, or when one experiences happiness, then simply think about the happiness in the light of they being the result of virtuous actions. Then immediately dedicate all the virtues towards the benefit of all other sentient beings. And next, when you encounter with any feeling of suffering, then knowing that the suffering is the derivative, the result of non-virtuous actions, then pray that all the negative actions, as vast as that of the ocean, be dried, and that no other beings ever experience suffering. So, a bodhisattva, when thinking along these lines and reflecting on these points, surely the person will not have any pain while traveling along the path of the bodhisattvas. So instead of feeling pain, you will really feel that, oh, I've done something worthwhile. And in further stanzas by Arideva, he said that for a bodhisattva, all adversities or all sorts of pains are in fact not at all a source of pain. They are rather for him. He finds no difference between samsara and nirvana. So, if you think along these points, we see that indeed this is the power, the willpower of the bodhisattvas. This is really very helpful and beneficial for our own thinking.
入行论里面有说到同样内容的一个寄送文。如果当我们具有这种的发心，打从心底的自己变成一切众生所受用、所享用的话，那我们活得多么有意义啊！我们活的是多么的值得，因为我们活是为了一切众生而活的，真是一个非常殊胜的一个法门，值得我们去修习。
那基本上这个。
那现在你们可以去上洗手间
休息着。
Okay, those who want to go go for relief to release themselves, please feel free to do so.
Mangu na soundane kale khomne ni lote shukchur churdo thyachi. Remada nazan la labchi de yamare. Ngara chashane pechinga lo kzaida lo peje sumju. Shibju sumju na da ba. Ne tungni samlo do stane. Gokten sa chi yosare sabang yeba ni lusane. Ngen gokten topsona ene ne benge hlölösin yede sam chengore. Changju semli ya maba yore. Takwa khane lobde gore ne system nala ne ta de khawore sam chendi. Dene gale kom yudane changju sem lobde da samdan ye woruji chayong ji. 자 changju sem samdan 직sem 교육 경에 즉 가해 강에 어디든지 그 용되기도 와. changju sem 게 말다. 나 모두 사도시다 말다. 제 이내고 가다 쓴다를 년년이 단전도 돼야 되샤. 저산 뒤고 밀 팽기면 메신 나라는 샤 팽기. 저산 저한테 민망그 나한테 계시지. 따라라면 수구대도 하고 스타투스, 심팀도 하고 스타투스. 한 가르치는 연구를 나 좀 이제 나니 추주 계속 무슨 얘기 거리스. 그 심팀 차버려 수구대도 차버려 세대기. 단 내가 신경 좀 있나? 배지 타고 현집에 저주 심스대도 즉 땡중 그 대권은 자들이 대니부터 딴딴 심리야 쇼직 디스트리였어요. 시디스 설레지 닝도 스테이였어요. 딴데 팽기디.
菩提心呢是要透过长时间的慢慢的修习，才有办法呢去对
The bodhicitta,
升起觉受。
the wish to achieve enlightenment for the sixfold sentient beings is not something that can occur in us spontaneously or through through just first attempt. It is something that will come in us through gradual and prolonged period of habituation. Say, when I was in my 30s, I was involved in the meditation of emptiness. I was involved in the analysis of emptiness. So at that point, because of this, I was connected to the truth of the cessation, to the liberation, and I thought that the liberation is something that I can achieve through my some form of experience of emptiness. So when I get to the point of achieving liberation, I'm going to really take a very good rest and a long sleep and relaxation. But then when I come to think about bodhicitta, it's such a wonderful idea, but at least for me, it's a long way to go. But then over the many years, then when I started reflecting on bodhicitta more, then my kind of closeness towards bodhicitta is increasing, and because of which, as soon as the word bodhicitta, the reflection bodhicitta comes in me, I would immediately have an enormous sense of intimacy and closeness towards that I can feel a great sense of ecstatic joy, and as well as I feel a kind of sadness associated, a mix of these two experiences upon reflection on bodhicitta. I don't claim to say that I have generated bodhicitta now. I'm not a bodhisattva. I don't have bodhicitta in me, but still I could feel so close to it. I don't know whether or not by practicing this bodhicitta is going to be a benefit to others, but surely it's really beneficial to me. People ask me, what is the secret of your proper health, sound health, your bodily and mental? So I say, I take 8 hours sleep, so that's the secret. But if someone is really thoughtful, then surely it is my practice of the bodhicitta, which cherishes others more than to oneself, and my appreciation and meditation on dependent origination and emptiness, which keeps me fit. So I ask you to practice these two, the bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, well. Don't simply be focused or be attracted to saying the mantra, the Om Amitabha Amitabha. So I met one Chinese who told me that, he was involved in reciting the mantra of Amitabha, the Buddha Amitabha, so much. But then he said that, there was no change happening in my mind. And also the Tibetans, they're so fond of doing a recitation of the mantras. So they do to the extent of saying it a few million times a particular mantra. So if that happens, then if you don't try to focus on the practice of bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness, then when a very great Lama, Amda Lama, said that, because of the recitation mantra, by using the mala or the rosary, instead of having your afflictions removed, it might lead you to remove your nails because of excessive counting of the mantras. And as for the practice of bodhicitta, the studying Sharideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Bodhisattva Charivatara, is really very important. And out of the two techniques to practice bodhicitta, the tenfold cause-effect relationship to cultivate the bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing and exchanging oneself for others to cultivate bodhicitta, of these two, the second one is more powerful.
So rangi ni junju na lo ya da da xian du jie xiao san yuan da ba jie ba cha song duo san yuan da ba shi song ya de chang shu sen bo ong wu dui bu 这是这倒是靠这个的。
所以在吉天菩萨的入行论里面呢，说
다
到
제주 세바 서울에 가다지 창조선 너바 영에게 로 듀부도 제기 딱심지로 자도 카우즈가 그래. 그래서 리메도 전에 다들 현도 제정 산에 담아 잡으셔. 산에 담아 송도와.
Shanadeva, in his guide to the Buddhist philosophy of life, he said that engage in the secret instruction to exchange oneself for others. So here Shanadeva is referring to this instruction of exchange oneself for others as secret, because this is so difficult a practice to be done by the less intelligent bodhisattvas. Now we continue with the text, the principal path to enlightenment. We are on page 165, second to last paragraph. The nature of individual defeats, as presented in other texts, the Shiksha Samuccaya has seminal transgressions. Master Bodhisattva claims 1. To prove that the seminal transgressions formulated by the Akshagarbha scripture are not seminal transgressions. And 2. That it would be detrimental if they were. 1. His proof. They are not cause for destruction of a vow that has been obtained. That very scripture declares them to be a cause for undercutting good roots planted previous to having taken the vow. The good fortune of divine and pleasant states of rebirth, it says, possessed of those 5 seminal transgressions, the anointed ruler destroys all the good roots he has previously planted and is defeated, falling from divine and human well-being, and going to a lower state of rebirth. The detriment. If these transgressions of the vow-taking were also defeats, in the sense of being causes for destruction of the vow, then the Bodhisattva Bhumi, as a code for the Bodhisattva collection, would have reason to add, a Bodhisattva who possesses a vow will relinquish it with the occurrence of any one of these defeat transgressions. One need to mention the occurrence of all, but it is not stated. Furthermore, if these transgressions were defeats of the vow, then since the scripture speaks of 5 seminal transgressions for the ruler and the 8 for the beginner, it would be appropriate to distinguish between different vows for ruler and beginner, so that each could have personalized similar transgressions, but there is not the slightest hint of such distinction. Such is the opinion of the Bodhisattva. In my opinion, it is not tenable. To take the scripture literally would mean that the 5 of the ruler do not function as seminal transgressions for the beginner, nor do the 8 of the beginner function as seminal transgressions for the ruler. But we cannot hold that these 2 groups have different vows. Here the ruler referring to the kings and the ministers and so forth, and the beginner is referring to the ordinary the subjects. Master Abhaya, in resolving the discrepancies between the Akshagarbha Sutra and the Bodhisattva Bhumi and the different seminal transgressions, makes distinctions among the transgressions, namely 5, 8, and 4 for medium, lesser, and greater personalities. However, he adds, for any particular personality, there may be other transgressions as well. In other words, the 5 promulgated for the ruler apply to a medium personality, the 8 promulgated for the beginner apply to a lesser personality, and the 4 promulgated in the Bodhisattva Bhumi apply to a greater personality. He nonetheless proposes to establish other transgressions as well for each of those personalities. Objections. If such were the case, there would be 17 downfalls for each of 3 personalities. The first of those of the Bodhisattva Bhumi is promulgated in Akshagarbha scripture as well. So together they make 14. The remaining middle 2 of the Bodhisattva Bhumi, plus the last teaching of resemblance of the good doctrine, make 17 seminal transgressions. Response. The 4 promulgated in the Bodhisattva Bhumi include the others. There are no seminal transgressions not included in these 4. How he collects them. The set of 8, praising oneself and so forth, are the collecting agents. Those that appear in the Akshagarbha scripture are collected, but not counting twice those among them that are also collecting agents, rejecting the greater vehicle and praising oneself and deprecating someone else for the sake of gain and respect. Those 13, plus relinquishing the thought of awakening as promulgated in the skill in me in scripture, make 14 seminal transgression. How are they collected? Rejecting pradimoksha, holding the holding that desire, etc., will not be eliminated by the desire attachment. Better put it, afflictive desire, etc., will not be eliminated by the Shravakas vehicle, and declaring falsely that one has obtained acceptance of the profound meaning. Are all three included within praising oneself and deprecating another? Because to praise the greater vehicle on the grounds that
기우수 송셔버티 자알 생도와 저들이 이르자냐한테 참으로 집에 신도시고 시원을 루당 소소한테는 말에
His Holiness's commentary. So here, in all these cases, we could well see as to how Rinpoche has been so precise and has been so skeptical, even in relation to the texts composed by the great Indian masters, and he's trying to do all kind of analysis and investigation to compare and contrast the different positions, and then get to the most authoritative explanation on these accounts. The text continues. Because to praise the greater vehicle on the grounds that it belongs only to oneself, the Bodhisattva, deprecating the lesser vehicle, and to make a false declaration, constitute praise of one's own personality type and deprecation of someone else's. The third paragraph, page 167, third paragraph, stealing the property of the three jewels. Rulers 1, stealing robes and causing levy of fines, etc., upon the religious. These three, as well as giving the property of those in retreat to those who only recite texts, are included within stingily not giving wealth. Because to steal someone else's things for oneself, because one is unable to bear his enjoyment of them, and attachment with intense stinginess constitutes stinginess for certain personality types, as does causing them to be given away, a transgression for the taker as well as for the donor, causing dissension within the monastic community, and causing someone to abandon calm-abiding meditation, are included within stingily not giving doctrine. Because in the former case, one is unable to bear the prosperity in doctrine, a stinginess stemming from attachment to doctrine, and in the latter case, one neither teaches nor allows someone else to teach out of intense meanness, striking those who are immoral, etc. The other four of the five immeasurable negative actions and destructions of villages, etc., are included within striking sentient beings. Rejecting doctrines of the Shravakas and Pradika Buddhas, describing emptiness to those whose intellects are unprepared, and abandonment of the thought of awakening, are included within rejecting the greater vehicle, because the vehicle of the Shravakas and Pradika Buddhas is taught in the greater vehicle, and rejecting it, both are rejected. And for the unprepared intellect to reject the emptiness would be one's own doing. And finally, the thought of awakening is itself the greater vehicle. The thought of awakening here referring to bodhicitta. Next, holding the wrong view and engaging oneself and others in the 10 unwholesome courses of action, and diverting someone into the lesser vehicle when he has been proceeding toward full awakening, are included within teaching what appears like the good doctrine, because in relation to the greater vehicle, the other two vehicles are only apparently the good doctrine. Such is the thesis of Abhekara Gupta. Some Tibetans say that individual scriptures are addressed to various sorts of disciples, and differing ceremonies are therefore to be followed. According to this view, if you take the vow with a ceremony expounded in the Shiksha Samujaya and the Bodhisattvachara Avatara, you follow the system of seminal transgressions explained in the Akshagarbha scripture, whereas if you take it with the ceremony expounded in the Bodhisattva Bhumi, you follow the seminal transgressions explained there unaware, and some define the two systems as creations of the differing Madhyamika and Chittamatra schools. That system of the new commentary is not regarded as tenable in this regard, for it would appear to contradict the system of Shantideva, that great chariot who constitutes a standard of knowledge for commentary on the meaning of the scriptures. Objection. According to that master, are those rulers and beginners possessors of the Bodhisattva vow or not? If they are, how can there be 5 transgressions for a ruler and a separate 8 for a beginner? This is untenable. If they are not vow possessors, there are transgressions legislated for them at all. Why are transgressions legislated for them at all? They would be irrelevant. Are those offenses not faults of a vow possessor? Response. To project his response to your question, certain transgressions are designated by the name of those in whom they tend to occur as a warning. Their function is transgressions for everyone. To call them mutually exclusive has to contradict their exposition. Because of their magnitude as deeds, they are naturally reprehensible. They undercut the opportunity and the good rules even of someone who has not taken the vow. For a vow holder, the effect is still greater. This is what he would say. In light of it, to say that they cut good roots that predate the taking of the vow, but do not cut the vow itself, certainly contradicts the exposition of them.
다 장산에 저동 가사도 순서 뒤체 다 럽드는 순서 저동 라마지 순서 되기도 와.
那这以上念完到110。
His Holiness commentary. On page 170, in the end, the verses that summarize the seminal transgressions are as follows in Shiksha Samuchaya. So, in terms of the transgressions of the transgressions of the Bodhisattva vow, or the infractions of the Bodhisattva vow, there are 2 kinds. One which are explicated in the Bodhisattva Bhumi, and others explicated in Shiksha Samuchaya. And the second last line from page 170 explains the remaining transgressions or the infractions found set in Shiksha Samuchaya. We continue. Page 169, the second paragraph. Objection. If these were considered seminal transgressions, they would have to be expounded in the Bodhisattva Bhumi. But it is not certain that they are. If you ascertain that they are, furnish your evidence. If they were seminal transgressions but were not taught there, a problem would occur. Practicing trainees would only know 4 seminal transgressions. As they practice, their vow would be conquered by other seminal transgressions of which they are unaware. They would not know the boundaries to be guarded. Response. On the contrary, if they were not seminal transgressions, the Bodhisattva Bhumi would have to remove the suspicion by saying so, because one might hold something that is not a seminal transgression to be a seminal transgression, holding something that is not destructive of the vow to be destructive of the vow. Thus, one would not know the boundaries to be guarded. The guidelines laid down in the Ashigaba scripture are not mentioned here in the Bodhisattva Bhumi, while the misdeed guidelines taught here are not mentioned in the Shiksha Samuchaya. There is no set rule that they must explain all the trainings, which is why both the Bodhisattva Bhumi and the Shiksha Samuchaya say that one must look into the scriptures. Abhikara proposes that those expounded in the Shiksha Samuchaya are seminal transgressions. This is correct, but his recommendations for collecting them apparently fail to win the confidence of most readers. Collecting them in that way, the divisions upon which the particular characteristics are based are collected by generalities, which are themselves suffused by the particulars. This is implausible, because most of the particulars would be left over. Some Tibetans suggest that a vow holder in the system of the Shiksha Samuchaya is best forbidden to answer questions as to whether individual transgressions are irrelevant as guidelines. Comments of the following sort should be avoided, are contradictory to the teachings, that is the Sutra Samuchaya commentary. The 5 transgressions of a ruler are not characterized as seminal transgressions, and the 8 of the beginner are. That the systems of Master Nagarjuna and Asanga are incompatible, that is, the Shiksha Samuchaya transgressions are mingled at random. The fact is that the scriptures promulgate the seminal transgressions, and Master Shantideva, in explicating the sense of those scriptures, also comments upon the seminal transgressions. In particular, he combines the senses of the Akshagarbha scripture and the Bodhisattva Bhumi. The 2 systems should be blended precisely because his exposition of them is authoritative. In the Shiksha Samujaya, the old translation, we read the seven transgressions
这种交界写的这种，好吧？
那在111页
are easily, his own commentary again, out of the 18 rude infractions, what is going to be said here is the fifth. The text continues. In the Shiksha Samujaya, the old translation, we read, the seven transgressions are easily grasped and remembered. These summary verses should be recited as a unified theory. In the new translation, this appears as these summary verses should be recited in order to establish a certain system. The sense of the former is clearly the combining of the systems in one. In the latter, this ascertain alludes to noble Asanga, the senses to establish or lay out his system. These are thought to be seminal transgressions in the great commentary to the Bodhisattva Charavatara, and the commentary by Kisimit Deva says, the Akshikapa scripture should be considered first of all. Examine the seminal transgressions. Seminal transgressions, he goes on, which are the transgression are sort of misdeed that destroy the vow, are expounded in the Akshikapa scripture. Consult them there. The commentary by Varichana Rakshita agrees with this, so they should unquestionably be taken as seminal transgressions. The verses that summarize the seminal transgressions are as follows in the Shiksha Samujaya. Stealing property of the three jewels is defined as a defeat transgression. Rejection of the good doctrine is declared by the monist second. Disturbing and striking a monk, even if he is immoral, throwing him into prison, casting him out of monastic life, committing the five immediates or the five immeasurables, holding a false view, to destroy a village and so forth, the Buddha calls seminal transgressions. Describing emptiness to sentient beings whose minds are unprepared, diverting from full awakening those proceeding towards Buddhahood, rejecting pratimoksha in favor of the great vehicle, to hold that the people's vehicle will not eliminate defilements, describing one's own good qualities for the understanding of others while deprecating someone else for gain, respect, and reputation. To say, I've attained acceptance of the profound, thus telling an untruth, to cause the levy of fines upon the religious generosity at the expense of the precious, the three jewels, and appropriating the donations. Causing abandonment of karma-abiding meditation, and giving the property of those in retreat to those who only recite texts. These are the seminal transgressions, causes of the great hell for sentient beings. Confess them to a noble Akshikapa, standing before him in a dream, relinquishing the thought of awakening, refusing to give a beggar with unquestionable attachment and stinginess, striking sentient beings out of anger, while conscientiously enjoying it, intolerant of sentient being, out of defilements, conforming to someone else to speak a counterfeit of the doctrine. How to interpret them? 1. The defeat of stealing property of the three jewels. 6 parts to this. Okay, so this passage, please be careful. There are lots of changes brought. I'm going to read them slowly. The owner of the objects, the scripture only says a stupa instead of shrine, and the local community, a sangha instead of local community, and the sangha of the four directions instead of the broader community. The three jewels is meant since a stupa stands for both Buddha and doctrine. Doctrine would refer to, instead of canonical text or personal discovery, would refer to doctrine of oral transmission and the doctrine of oral transmission and spiritual realizations, instead of a canonical text and personal discovery. The text continues. The local community, again, as I've already corrected, Sangha. Sangha is divided into 7 pratimoksha classes, while the broader community, again, I've already made a change, while the Sangha of 4 directions is not divided into classes. Beyond that, 4 or more monks form a Sangha in the case of ordinary persons instead of community, or form a Sangha in case of the ordinary persons. Then remove are concerned. Then, next line, which each superior beings instead of noble, which each superior beings constitute a sangha instead of personal community. The next line, the phrase, the three jewels is glossed as the actual Buddha, then the path of cessation and so forth. Instead of that, the uncontaminated path and cessation, instead of without outflows, uncontaminated path and cessation, and the superior beings in training, instead of noble disciples, and the superior beings in training in other texts. But it will not hold in this case, as is clear from the above statement. A stupa and the sangha of four directions instead of broader community.
Any langdor jukdo chiasungare. Sadiri Induzane, Logdalia, Drondo Loda, the Kundi Lodas, Nishani. Drondo Loda Sayadi, Mavachigla, Yoris and Namdog, Jordani, Teleyishi, Drondo Loda Slavery. Diane, Yavachilla, and a Maver Danny, and a Maver Tasha, did it Adela. 그 예배직을 야마르스 레바인데 예배들로 꾸었다버려. 근데 인도 군립 록다스 레바래. 다 안데디 군립 록다르샤.
He saw in his commentary, the way the practice of the Buddhism is done is by understanding the reality first and then accordingly engage in the ethical discipline or engage in the action, whether to abandon something or whether to embrace something. So it is because of the emphasis on the need to understand reality, which should be the basis of practice. The Buddha taught the two extremes, the extreme of reification and the extreme of denigration. So the extreme of reification means that in reality there isn't something, and then you try to reify or you try to exaggerate something on top of what is there on the reality. You try to add to what is there to the reality. So this is one form of extreme, the extreme of reification. And the other extreme is the extreme of denigration or repudiation, meaning on the reality there is something there, and then you try to denigrate that. You try to say that, oh, it doesn't exist. So if that is the case, this is what is referred to as the extreme of denigration. So it is only by overcoming these two extremes, the extremes of reification and the extreme of denigration, that one can follow the reality. One's practice can accord with the reality.
다 렌데 차신차와도 가오셔. 이내고다 렌데 락베타네 또 세바로 셴다. 얘네 좀 된데 롱레 숨버리스. 얘네 잡아 숨지다고 롱레 숨바. 스타디 제숨 잡아서다디. 지리니 통문줄 중세고줄 신도고줄 셴네. 무슨 관도 되게 하래. 다른 거는 니리 처야 나로래. 배나 가서래. 랑의 신도고도 줄땡에 디 턴디 소수 잡아체니 셰투야 매댕에 인지민지 디 규여 등에게 강사 숨버지기 럽셔베 나라야 이지천 로가 여아래 넘중에 따와디 셰되기 배는가 거두 기버스러나 아 거두 기버스 추수가 기버스러나 아메 럽셔베 디 장장을 차셔주려 말이 생각이 말보다 잡아셔서면 봐 사실인데 맞은 집에 해피 버스데이 샌들도 하고 뮤직 러브를 차셔지 누구를 봐도 소식 매와 봐. 사들이는 것은 인인도 사회 나라래 간다 그 랑라 더 지신고 이내면에 랑라 신도 고도 유탱의 지기 그 내가부터라 강사 숨버지를 나라 때네 다 가서 우리 비에 차샤고야지 다들 강사 숨버디 나라 때네 차샤되잖아요 그냥 강사 숨버디 그때한테 상처패를 말해 그 특별히 없애는데 말해 그 거짓말이 생겼는데 말해 그냥 땐데 딱제 제세 얘는 안더 랑의 신도 거도 주댕이 된데 그 땐데라 아니 네 네버지 열에 여 말해是吧다 딘데지 그냥 준세먼고 상담에 다 대패지 베르샤셔나 나기베 기시디 다디 미디 규열에 두두고 미디 대 열에 아니 미디 딕슨식 말해 meeting nga lo ger da ne ka ke ya ma nga lo chung da ne ka ke ya ma re swa ta ko chang ko cha sha ke di ke ko pe she ko re sa ma ro ji den de ji ta ne ta ene ka da ke de ji ji de ko ra se be so ji men do swa ko pe she ban ne do ne da sha se do se in ta je ju ma do 다 가서 뮤직 쓰기 세자로 자식 말와 진짜 잡았으면 다 왔어야 돼 전대 때문에 슝디 저자 통은줄이야 무슨 세면 내봐 내봐 중세 고주도 배차라 지바세면 내봐 내봐 아니 신고도 배차라 예 이지지와다 내봐 내봐 서울에다 간다 배지입니다 신도 고주도 배차라야 롱것이 무수 겨워봐 되지 때문에 셰고야 저들이 이제는 내 디스 선배야래 데 남배슝 거신네 아니 지르르다 링실링데사로 송셔부터 저대디 아니 뒷담배 슝달라 슝면라도가 점린 라라 동부 라라 춥시 신네 라라베 라원 줄때 저송도와 닐시 라원 줄때 스다 나란조라 르리실데사지 신고적으로 와다 그래서 신고 때문에 슝코라 나라라 미투부도가 겨와도가 그래서 드네 인도산에 슝진의 때문에부터 다시 신바 캐랑 고야랑 매배소도가 아니 니네 아니 랑을 신도 거도 줘 이나야 베너지 큰일이야 저등에 게다 지 안더 스페이스크래프트 지 디지털이 저저요 할럼 통과하래 폐지 통과하래. 그럼 나외관 리기하래. 자자가 애는 나외관은 무슨 되게 되게 르르 폐지 통과하지. 르르 질 통과하지. 가르스는 르르고 쯤나데 아주 연구하러 와. 뭐번 셰셰베 르르 디 쯤나데 아주 연구도 와. 그래서 쯤나데 아주 쯤나데 가는 영향 르르데 아주 많이 오네 맞아요. 가줄배 고신도 고 가서 가줄배 낭도 미루어 쓰고 있네 가오러 봐. 쯤에 낭도롱 쯤에 가는 이야기 르르드 낭도 미루어 샤오진에 가오래. 자, 디레 인도산에 디레 인도 가서 우리 그게 연나 낭도롱지 아니 미나가 qabla 내가 주고요. 너도 보면 다서 디식도 와. 양 견다비베 댄식 타네 매바직 다 찍으러 와. 뭐 양은 가져다 뭐 디니마도 좋으면 돼 봐. 다 디니 겨와인데 봐. 아니 겨와데 통용은 아니 디 동다데 매바직 다 잡아야지.是吧? 근데 단 견다비벌이야 경계미 아니 가자 런신 게미 저부 게미 사로 들으셔야 거도 먼저 게미를 지여다 하나. 是吧? 小的这他所以你就是第一个日本加不起来都上当用呢那我那个中国团的下边那样按照这日本的领导在的考下一些但我领现在想吧怎么瞧一点全白白太有戏就是呢就这样是个其实这样是个的啥的这些
那这一种的
按照这个来说的 但俺都讲了，这的，交往我是都查下呢，交往我是这样定数是不是这下？我不看到讲一那样，可教着这个是没呢，可能年龄就是过来是，天气性过来是，吃素食的一年年龄就过来，拿西边的一年年龄就过来，吧？这里有的人吃素食，我说日老肯定了说吧，不能俺说碰过的查下呢，可能军呀都。 다 균을日军的 재균 야와차나 재균 대표적 중요로 재균도 시야 대시면이나 만주 다대 류디기 그래서 재균도 사 대요나 밤에 쿠자 대파마 되네야 전에 제로 붐 아니 사야 저 통주 아니 팀붐 총어 대주급네 야도 대르는 점님 타마 차베 내거 다 로팀붐가 있는 신 주요하래 팀붐 총어가 팀부 중앙 내가 공라 신내다 배 님한테 차베나 들으셔야 독수가래. 그래서 드네야 대신은 점리다가 토마 차야 돼. 빅방 사이즈도가 빅방 사이즈 시야에 보이는 더로 팀부 중앙 쪽수미나 팀부 중앙 짱하고 시제도가 백방어도 충분하다. 자들이 사는 제주네 나란주 다대 륜디기 제주야 대치나 자 제주네 여시 처비하다. 딱고 인지게서 무슨 멀티플라이 양고 자 제주지 양 겐신다 저배 왕기 양고 제주 먹고 처비야 용구로다. 제주 참모장 겐지왕고 두문 뒤네 양 라도라도 그러다 용구로다. 다 뒤에 되고 제균디 직매나 루불라 규미 게면에 용구 말이 ቻ다. 사들이서 우모십제베 나로리아 뭐벌로 통매 타요 말을 숨겨야 돼. 사들이면 인도 거래 제균도 상담에서는 치수진이 되고年龄 주 제균도 시아치베나 탐매베지 가다 다 시켜야 돼. 대능신 낭시바를 찾잖아요. 거기 주도 깨려지는 용기 뭐 삽시라로. 딱그 링데年龄 주도 대신베이나. 아니 개지 시바디 레벨에 기버렸으니 레벨 제주를 기버렸으니 샤고주나 아니 시바기지 당보디 밑에 줄을 기버지다 배치하는 서 숙제 생명 편부지기 년련전이 가서 우리 유지가 매된 생명스러운 유지가가 누가 매된 얘기 재지기 유지가가 누가 요대배 뭐부지 계약이 년련이 줄라 시작하고 그래. 도시는 영어지 줄인 거야. 엔터기라고 봐. 시바 참여团도 시행되다. 시바라고 강성된 거마다 시바 참여가 상당한 거야. 그래서 저는 원부시바도 차잖아. 원부시바 찍게야 돼. 반나 숭진 미시게야 돼. 미긴 속. 그봐. 다긴 미고 원부. 다 미고 원부스네 왕스스네다. 다디 디닌 뒤베터네 유다. 아니 원부니부디 태베 땡네. 아니 유진 집에 세리지 깨야 돼. 세리 균을 때네 세리 남의 균을 때네 연구 알았어. 너지 배잖아 대바타긴 시도가. 사들이 이르잖아요. 그 리베 몰을 깨야 돼. 리베 남의 균을 때네 연구하지 저기 가래. 사들이 이만 이르잖아요. 그도 세 대신배이나 셰바 랑랑 릭팀베 다 균질이 깨고야지. 패지 리베잖아. 디마도 저서 소리래. 양면 지는 거 보고 해라. 어느 거죠 남들이 선전에 야야도가 눈대로 찍으래야. 규밀이 집에서는 한 바로 지래다. 그봐. 진짜 되게 이르잖아요. 아다 진짜가 타네. 나도 토마상루시다 마홍게 걸려야. 아주 담이 좀 된데도 송여래. 메다디 인타주래 사바로 쟤네 두샤. 다 대마시 차마샤체. 싸운다 잡아쟤네. 엔서는 네번 터버지셔야 돼. 계속 버리셔. 대양 까나게 해도 겨운 것이 매도시 구원되고 오 다디 독조 구원 만들어야 돼. 나주 농성을 때네 마들 안 되지. 되네 싸운다나 가서서는 다대 또 네번이야지 배지해야 돼. 얘네 약속 겨운 것이 전형인 거야. 뭐 겨가나도 다른 대별로 쉬시라지 나라리야. 겨가를 보고 된대. 겨우는 전쟁에 나랑 무슨 투에 가시죠 투수. 그냥 사관을 텐데 왜 가시 중소아? 별에 시장 나도와 겨우는 것이 전쟁인데 그로 이랬을 수도. 부품이 여면 지시. 그로 이랬을 수도. 장즈 부근 나도와 겨우는 것이 전쟁인데 여면
In relation to recalling the past lives, he's also wondering, among the Chinese, you have your children who can remember, who remember their past lives. So actually, we should do a form of research. So this is. So this really needs, we really need to do a thorough research on this to make sure that there is no error happening in claiming a child recalling a past life. So if that happens, if we can really come up with such things, then it should need explanation.
这种我们如果行善的话，会得到快乐；如果行恶的话呢，会得到的这种。
In connection with the avoiding the extreme of denigration, which forms a part of commitment of vow, his own commentary. Here, denigration of the extreme of denigration is in relation to the denigration of the law of causality. So the law of causality, to avoid this denigration, you should know the efficacy of the law of causality. So here, law of causality, it can be, we can understand the efficacy and the veracity of this law of causality through reflecting on the how the results are given rise to by the respective causes. And then within that, we have the law of causality of karma as well. So denigrating the law of causality of karma is what forms a part of the infraction here. So now to gain a conviction in this, of course, the grosser level of the karmic law of causality is what we can infer from the general law of causality. And then there's the subtle one. Of course, there's something so subtle that a reason cannot reach there. A mere reason cannot reach there. For example, in the case of the objects, in the case of things that exist in the universe, there are three, they can be classified into three. One, the evident phenomena. Second, slightly hidden phenomena. And third, absolutely hidden phenomena. So even in our daily lives, we see that there are many objects which belong to the third category, the absolutely hidden phenomena, which cannot be something discovered, which cannot be something what you can know through your evident senses or through your power of reasoning. Rather, it has to be confirmed confirm the validity by means of the third person's authoritative statement. For example, this example I usually say when you speak about birthday. Birthday and the time when you were born. So it is only by reliance on the mother's word that you say, "Oh, this is my birthday, and I was born on such and such time." Other than that, there is no way by which you can know that you were born there, because you were just a small baby then, that you didn't know that you were born. So it's through the testimony of the mother's word that you'll confirm that you were born on such and such day and such and such time. So, although the birthday is not something, the hidden phenomena in general, but in relation to you, with respect to you, your birthday becomes a totally, absolutely hidden phenomena. So, to confirm the validity of that, to evaluate that you were born on such and such day, it should be done by trusting, by believing in the testimony of a third person. And then again, the third person in whose words you take to be so reliable, we should should be quite skeptical. First, you have to examine whether or not the person is really reliable. One. And secondly, you should have to know that this person, although reliable, but is she or he really knows about when you were born. Second. And then we should know that this person is reliable because he's not telling lies. And then also you should know that, even if the person tell lies, saying that, you're born on a different day, so the person, by no means, the person is going to benefit. No, the person is going to not benefit. And secondly, the person should not be insane. So if the person qualifies all these things, then we will, when it comes to the situation where you are to decide about the third kind of the object or phenomena, then you have to confirm the validity of the object on the basis of the words of a reliable person. And then, and not that you're going to decide that simply seeing that someone else, you don't know who that person is, and that person saying it, and you try to take take the word of that person true. So this should not be the way. So in this relation, in with respect to the acceptance of the four continents and the 8 subcontinents and the Mount Meru and these things, these are something which cannot be accepted because even within the Buddhist scriptures, we see there are varying, divergent views about the universe, about the structure of the universe as such. And whereas something which should be acceptable on the authoritative words should be such that there is no contradictory statements found within that domain. And also, the acceptance of the Mount Meru is quite contradictory to to many valid minds. For example, it says that we're experiencing the shadow of the Mount Meru, but we don't experience the Mount Meru itself. This is quite contradictory. Say, for example, there are humans who went in spacecraft into space, and actually, had it been the case that there's Mount Meru, they should have seen that, but they didn't. And also within the Buddhist logic, the system of the logic. So again, this exposition, this acceptance of the Mount Meru is quite contradictory from Buddhist logical point of view. In the Buddhist logic, there is the mention of a logic whereby you prove the non-existence of something on the basis of the reasoning that if that exists, it should be something perceivable to the mind. But since the Mount Meru, if that is perceivable, we should have seen that. But since that we cannot perceive that, despite it being perceivable, it proves the non-existent Mount Meru. This one, and secondly, it is by proving the non-existence of by proving the existence of the contrary, that we prove the non-existence of the other, which is contrary to what you have observed. And then, so from these points of view, we see that the acceptance of Mount Meru and so forth is something untenable. Untenable, at least from the point of view of this solar system. But what is being explained there could be something tenable if you take the entire galaxy, entire universe into account. Who knows? Such a universe as described in the Abhidharma is something existent in some other part of the universe. And then now about the rebirth, about the concept of rebirth, I think this is something what we can gain conviction in through understanding dependent origination. So, how do we do that? Is that first of all we should know that anything which has a capacity to undergo change should necessarily have two causes for that thing to come into being. So these two causes are the substantial cause and the cooperative cause. Substantial cause means the primary cause of the result, the cause whose substance is going to transform into the shape, color, and so forth of the result. Whereas the cooperative cause is a cause which simply assists. We simply assist the substantial cause to undergo that change, to give rise to the result. So there must be these two causes. Now, if you think about, so what we have as human beings is that we have a body and a mind. Now, if you try to trace the causes of body, of course, our body is derived through the substances from our parents. And again, if you try to trace what is the substantial cause of that substance that you derive from your parents, again we can trace it back and back and back until the substantial causes that existed 5 billion years ago, when the sun and these different parts of the world, the parts of the solar system came into being. And again, if you try to trace the very substantial cause of those substances which existed 5 billion years ago, again, it can be traceable back to the 15 billion years ago or 13 billion years ago when the Big Bang occurred. So we see that in terms of the substantial cause, it can be traced traceable back in times beginninglessly. So, whereas if you speak about the existence of something which is without substantial cause, then we have to accept the randomness. This is again untenable. And then in 400 Stanzas by Aryadeva, he very clearly explained that even in terms of the physical things, there must be the unbroken continuity in terms of the substantial causes. Now, in terms now to
대화를 제주스면 또 뭐냐 그래. 다가는 신기 내 심지어 탐지게 좋은 거 민두 사바암 야나 심지어 가야로 찍을면네 다디 그뒤에다 두고 지원 쇼 상상다나 야제식나 그 지식 주고요 아래. 응 제주스면 또 뭐냐 그래.
那在写众多的菩萨
before I continue with where I left earlier, first let me translate what Ishwan said now. In terms of the infractions which can relinquish one's bodhisattva vow, is that relinquishing the aspiration bodhicitta, which means that if you think, so now I realize that I cannot really do the welfare. I cannot really offer the welfare of the welfare of all other sentient beings. One, and second, if you say, although I wish all other sentient beings be, although I'm ready to offer benefits and service to all other sentient beings, but this person or this sentient being is exceptional. I don't want to do anything good to this person. I wish everything bad occurs on this person. If you think that, then because of you're disconnected with one person, you don't have you cannot have a sentiment embracing all other sentient beings. As such, this can lead to the relinquishing of one's bodhisattva vow. Now, back to where I left. And now, in terms of the internal world of the mind, if one says that, the mind is nothing, but it is reducible to the brain, or it is a mere derivative of the brain. Now, here in this case, if you hold on this idea, then there's really contradicts one basic natural law. And the contradiction is that the first moment of mind, if you claim that to have been produced from the brain, then the brain being a physical, tangible thing, which is lacking the nature of luminosity and knowing, and a mind which is having the nature of the luminosity and knowing. So the mind should be given rise to by a discordant cause or a non-commentant cause. This is totally contradictory to the natural law, which says that any result should necessarily be given rise to by a concomitant cause. And again, to make it still clearer, the physical non-tangible things, the physical tangible things, they don't have the capacity to apprehend, to understand something, and whereas the mind has that capacity. So how can something which doesn't possess the quality of knowing give rise to something which has the quality of knowing? And also in terms of for example, if we take one instance of mind, which is eye consciousness. So here, in order to give rise to eye consciousness, it must be given rise to by three conditions: the stimuli or the external condition, and the sense power, and the immediately preceding mind. So the external condition is the form or the body, and the sense source or the sense power could be the nerves or the eye sense power.
땡중기 때문에 아니 동원이 고다자베이나 패지 그 시로 도와지 패지 연구 로드지 패지 연구래 냐마 아니 아니 자가로 모시듯이 다도 공샤차를 비하네 뭐지 공 나버체 지금 내전에 결혼조 쟤네 되는 동원이 거를 짓게 주셔야니 아니 다음에 봤을 때는 콩 다르체 쉬우시다시게 다 다음에는 가져 버렸어요. 쉬우시다 그런 놈이 다 풍불로 된 풍불로 왕줄 얘기 풍불로 된 시험에 다 아트마 서비스 검도 알아. 뒤에 말을 쓰잖아요. 다 풍불도人生에 되면 에너지 뒤도 지금 랜드 속에 랜드 아니 가서 우리 그게 뒤도 용에 다지 매발을 시불로 거하지. 쉬우시나죠? 俺到谁写不得，马上东西怎么写的，球都是写不得，是吧呀？是，哎，那这些啥写不写？哎，是我查不的，你是我觉得没多。
And now again, before I continue with the first part, let me translate what his student said now. In relation to the transgression of giving discourse on emptiness to a wrong vessel, it says that if you simply try to explain emptiness, saying that, oh, nothing's findable there, objectively, nothing's findable there, always trying to point it from the empty side, then there's a tendency that the listener might end up thinking that there's nothing existing. They falling to the extreme of nihilism. But whereas if you try to explain emptiness on the basis of the dependent origination, that since everything comes into being by means of dependent origination, things should necessarily exist while at the same time lacking independent existence. So the way the Nagarjuna introduce emptiness. So if that happens, then there's less likelihood that the listener will fall to the extreme of nihilism. At once there was one Indian who was from Bihar, and he happened to receive full ordination vow, bhikshu vow from me. And at one day I was just talking to him about emptiness, the concept of the selflessness, the anatman, absence of atma. So there, as soon as he heard this teaching, he was trembling in fear. And then I also really felt, oh, I must have taught emptiness to a wrong person. So I must be, there's a tendency, maybe I'm also prone to this, to have the transgression of teaching emptiness to a not improper person. Because this person, because of his habituation to this concept of Atman, a self which is so distinct from the body and mind, so the person, when taught the concept of the Anatman or the selflessness, then that person thought, oh, if there's no Atma, if there's no such a distinct self, so what is there then? What is the purpose of engagements then? So then he was trembling. But later on, through my efforts, a series of efforts of explaining how things do exist, then he was relieved. And now back to a previous discussion, that for unconsciousness to arise, there must be the physical object, that is the form, and then the sense power, and then the immediately preceding mind. So without the immediately preceding the mind, then the unconsciousness, which is having the nature of the luminosity or the clarity and knowing, how can that nature endowed with these two characteristics, the clarity and the knowing aspect, can come about from the mere physical tangible objects. Because of this, that the third condition is the immediately preceding mind is something so crucially required even for this eye consciousness to arise. So, if we think along these lines of reasoning, then we see that, oh, there is no other way other than to accept the continuation of the mind, rather than the mind giving rise to by a physical, tangible thing. And if you don't accept this, then the other alternative would be to accept the presence of God, who is who has the power to create everything, and randomly he created this, the mind. Or you have to accept causeless production, so which is totally untenable and senseless. And also, so at first, we may study what is said about the rebirth and so forth by the Buddha, and then try to expand your thinking and reasoning to explore deeper into this. And also, for the last 40 years, I've been meeting with some of very small children who could remember their past lives. And also, there were such accounts found in the newspapers as well. And also in the Tibetan settlements, there were such cases of small children remembering their past lives. We continue reading the text, The Principal Path to Enlightenment, page 172. The second last line. Just because it says to steal objects belonging to a stupa or offerings belonging to the Sangha, the Sangha of four directions, does not mean that all the three jewels must want of objects. Anyone will suffice for this to be seminal transgressions. Number two, the objects that are taken. No information appears on this, so they may be understood as shelter, such as huts, comestibles, conveyance, and the like. No information appears on the size of the things either, and it would be difficult to indicate the magnitude of the action by which the result of defeat is obtained. So these may be understood as taking that amount of something counted as a requisite beyond the minimum required for it to be considered the taking of what has not been freely given course of action. The phrase belong to the Sangha shows that whether or not anyone specific seems to be responsible for the objects, they are deemed to belong to one of the three jewels by virtue of having been dedicated to them. The basis or thief. When stealing within the community, you are not a part of its ranks. 4. This attitude, 2 points. 1. His conception. Inasmuch as it is engaged in a specific motivation, his conception must be unerring. Inasmuch as it is engaged in a general motivation, it must possess the unmistaken attitude of mind that is beyond ambiguity, because the general text on stealing state that stealing by mistake does not result in the negative course of action. His motivation, he thinks, this belongs to the three jewels, and not of me, but I simply must deprive them of it. Circumstances in which it might possibly be without transgressions, as in stealing for someone else's sake, with a compassionate attitude, etc., will be discussed below. In this regard, something that is a transgression for one vow might be permissible for another vow, but to say that a specific vow contains permission for his own seminal transgressions is absurd. So for now, let us say that he must be stealing for his own sake, or that he has a default motivation. Some commentators suggest that afflictive attachment must be his motivation, but it is not necessarily so. The application of the action. Number 5, the application of the action. The phrase to steal or cause someone to steal seems to indicate both his own action and commissioning someone else. There's a further distinction to be made between clandestine, unnoticed theft and robbery by force. The old translation reads robbery theft of the three jewels. The number 6. The extent of the stealing depends on his ambition. Incidentally, there are 3 defeats of stealing properties of Buddhas in this list. 2. The defeat of rejecting the true teaching, 2 points. 1. The true doctrine that is rejected. The second seminal transgression is to reject and cause someone to deny teachings for the deliverance of the Shravakas, teachings for the deliverance of the Pradika Buddhas, or teachings for the deliverance of the greater vehicle. The word or shows that any scripture of the 3 vehicles is intended, because they have been promulgated so as to provide a selection. Beyond that, greater vehicle refers to scriptures teaching the profound plus scriptures teaching the extensive, as will be seen when rejecting the greater vehicle. It is glossed as the mistake of rejecting either side of the greater vehicle, the profound meaning of emptiness or literal truth of the mind of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. For I submit that a Bodhisattva Bhumi, a discussion of the mistake is analogous to the discussion here of the defeat of rejecting the greater vehicle. Likewise, deliverance of the Shravakas refers to such things as teachings of the 4 truths, and deliverance of the Pradika Buddhas to such things as the 12 links of dependent origination, the lesser vehicle, corpus of doctrine. Objection. Does this imply that to reject even a portion of the topics result in a misdeed, as is the case with the greater vehicle? If that were the case, rejecting a portion of the topics of greater vehicle scriptures would be a misdeed, whereas rejecting teachings for the deliverance of the Shravakas and Pratitya Buddhas would be a defeat. This is absurd, since the former rejection is more reprehensible than the latter. Response: there is no problem whether dealing with the higher or the lower vows. Something more reprehensible has a higher designation as transgression, and something less reprehensible has a lesser designation. In context of pratimoksha, for example, to slay a common person is a defeat, and to draw blood from a Tathagata with the thought of causing his death is a gross breach, bordering on defeat. In the greater vehicle as well, to steal the wealth of a common lay person is not designated a defeat, and to stingily fail to give one's wealth to a beggar in distress is designated a defeat. How it is rejected? In the Shiksha Samachaya and the Sutra Samachaya, the phrase reject the cause someone to deny, as it appears in Akshagarbha text, reads, reject and deny the scriptures. The Bodhisattva Bhumi only mentions rejection of the greater vehicle, not causing someone else to reject it. For these two reasons, I propose that causing someone else to reject it is not a necessary factor. How you yourself reject it, therefore, is by reputation, saying this has not been promulgated by the Tathagata. Objection: rejecting the Shravakas vehicle is explained to be a misdeed. Is this not a contradiction? Response: this is not the same sort of rejection, but only discounting, as will be explained. Incidentally, rejecting the greater vehicle, etc., has three applications. 3. The defeat of harming a monastic. 2 points. The injured object. The scripture says, someone who has become a monastic following the Buddha, whether or not he keeps the basis of training and whether he be moral or immoral. The verse has the term even if pointing to only an immoral monk. However, the injury is done, it is motivated by an intent to do harm and injury to that object, and that is to say, done with a defiled intention. 2. Application: one steals his saffron robes and casts him out of the monastic life, in some way forcing him to dwell as a lay person. To inflict corporal punishment, cast him into prison, and deprive him of life are also mentioned in connection with this seminal transgression. These are to be included within the defeat of striking, hurting, and damaging. As holders of monastic vows and owners of the stolen saffron robes, a quorum of 4 monks is not necessary. If there is a quorum of 4, the first seminal transgressions will be ensue. Incidentally, seeing saffron robes and casting out of the monastic life are 2 defeats. 4. The defeat of committing the boundless negativities. This constitutes 5 seminal transgressions of immediate karmic retribution: the slaying of mother, father, and arhat, sowing dissension in the community, and with an evil mind shedding the blood of a Tathagata. 4 of them, apart from dissension, are included by the 5th defeat of the Bodhisattva Bhumi. The defeat of holding the false view. This constitutes repudiation, thinking that there is no such thing as activity and result, no past and future lives. Your good rules are cut by only this, so undertaking the 10 unwholesome courses of action and causing others to undertake them are not necessary factors. So what His Holiness explained earlier with detailed explanations is in connection with this defeat. The 5th, the defeat of holding to false view. Number 6, the defeat of destroying habitation. 2 points. 1. The habitation destroyed, village, city, district, or country. The motivation for causing this destruction is the default intention of destroying them. Application: destruction by whatever it means. The first 5, according to the citation in the Sutra Samachaya commentary, are transgressions of a king. The 6th is the second of a minister, and the remainder of the 5, up to and including the immediates, belong to the minister as well. This is also found in the scripture. If the 7 transgressions were a matter of conquering the sentient beings, to be found within the village and so forth, it will be included within the defeat of striking, etc. Were it a matter of conquering the goods found in them, it will be included within the 1st or the 13th defeat. So this is a matter of destroying habitation. Incidentally, there are 4 similar transgressions of conquering villages and the like. 7. The defeat of explaining profundity to someone who is not a proper vessel. 3 points. 1. The object who is taught, a sentient being who is seriously underprepared, who will tremble if taught emptiness, and who has already generated the thought of full awakening. 2. What is taught? Emptiness with no fabrication whatsoever. 3. What comes to of the teaching? Being taught emptiness in that way, he trembles and turns away from the thought of full awakening, generating a lesser veiled thought of awakening. My thinking is that this refers to an unanalyzed vessel. When a vessel has been analyzed and is aware of his fitness, is it a different matter? Is it a defeat created then? Number 8. The defeat of leading someone away from the greater vehicle. 2 points. 1. The person misdirected someone proceeding towards Buddhahood who has generated the thought of full awakening and then entered the greater vehicle. 2. How he is misdirected? By saying, "You are incapable of causing in the 6 perfections. You cannot attain Buddhahood. So generate the thought of the vehicle of the Shravakas and the Pradika Buddhas, and you will be delivered from samsara." Does misdirecting suffice by itself, or is it necessary that he be misled? According to the great commentary to the Bodhisattva Charavathara,
시사입니다. 동어로 쉬우니 잡아다 개셔야 돼. 이게 예바 열어라. 대선도 마세베. 아니 가사주기. 람콩마 깨와라야. dom발라르 소 취베 있나야. 아니 람콩마 깨와라야. 발주시대야. 시사시고 충분히 말해. 그래서 이제 저동거 막어버셔야 돼. 개심물이. 다 저동거 막어버 탑실이야. 군지시부디 심바체니. 군지시 마상셔야 돼. 탑실이야. 다 조조 니미스미다 와서야 돼. 나도 가야만 사배다. 배 삼는나 배지 야미로 존대야. 삼바 팀만 되셔야 돼. 개시슈리샤. 님이스미다 와서야 너무 시다는데 대마다 되는 거지. 그래서 군지 마산에 탑시셔와. 다 전주선도 록더니 마도 시나지디 군지 상국도가. 사실은 님이마다 전에 말로도 공공고서 재미 군지시 상국 주주 미국 라다도 선전이죠. 저도저제 송대다.
In relation to the 4 entanglements, which are required for defeat to relinquish one's bodhisattva's vow, it says that although one is able to revive the bodhisattva vows after having relinquished the bodhisattva vows, but the drawback of that is that it'll take many more years. It'll really take you so long to upgrade oneself to the next path, to the higher path. So it is, if possible, it is best to make sure that you are not being tainted, you are not being defiled by any of these defeats, so that it is easier for you to get to the next steps of the path more easily. And then also, it says that out of the 18 root interactions, it is only if they are complemented by the 4 entanglements, for entangling negative attitudes, that it is only if they are associated with these 4 and the entangling negative thoughts that they will give rise to relinquishing your bodhisattva vow, except 2. 1, giving up of your bodhicitta, and holding a wrong view.
We'll stop here.